tension is high. Tenma steps up for his awakening ceremony, watched closely by the legendary northern commander himself, Mendu Izumi. This guy isn't just anybody. He literally trained humanity's absolute strongest hero, our brightest hope. He drops a massive awakening monolith right in front of them. One by one, students try. One by one, absolute failure. Nothing happens. But naturally, the biggest, loudest bully in class actually manages to awaken. Tenma isn't having it. He shoves the jerk aside, gripping the stone with pure, unshakable determination. And that's when the commander freezes, looming right behind our boy's spirit, a literal god of absolute destruction. Boom, a massive blue lotus explodes from the monolith, granting Tenma an incredibly rare hidden skill over mimesis. The ultimate cheat code. He can adapt to any attack and instantly create a perfect counter. Think Maharaga, but way more broken. The bully, completely blinded by jealousy, he charges at Tenma. But in a split second, our guy vanishes and appears right behind him. The sheer killing intent paralyzes the bully completely. The guy literally wets his pants and collapses to the floor, absolutely terrified. System analysis complete. Tenma instantly unlocks a counter skill called Thunderwave, pulling him into his own breathtaking mini-lotus domain. Every single time he adapts like this, he becomes a walking nightmare, stacking broken skills that make him completely unstoppable. Then, out of nowhere, total chaos. A colossal second monolith plummets straight from the sky, completely crushing the Institute's roof. Even with a legendary commander present, this is terrifying news. That falling rock signals one thing: an ultra-level disaster beast is here. Everyone scatters in sheer panic. But Tenma, he is way too pissed off to run. He steps up ready to solo this absolute nightmare. Actually, he's smiling. Why? Because this exact type of monster is the very same breed that murdered his mother years ago. For him, this is payback time. And yeah, he's basically trash-talking a massive, horrifying skeleton soldier straight from your worst nightmares. A monster that is literally blazing with fire. With his brand new abilities surging through his veins, our boy decides it's testing time. Using Thunderwave, he blasts forward at absolute lightning speed, clashing with the blazing skeleton. The beast swings down hard, but Tenma's new speed is off the charts. He effortlessly dodges the fatal strike. And then he counters with an absolutely brutal, bone-shattering punch. He refuses to back down or let these monsters claim another innocent life. One single devastating punch. That's all it takes to floor this massive nightmare completely. Jaws literally drop. His classmates freeze in pure shock at Tenma's overwhelming power, suddenly realizing they might not even need to run. A nobody just seconds ago, now he's casually tossing a massive level 8 calamity beast across an entire building like it's nothing. Even the supervisor is sweating. Tenma might officially be level 0, but this kind of explosive power shatters every rule they know. But hold up. Beating this undead soldier shouldn't be possible, because this specific boss monster has two absolutely terrifying survival traits. First, its defense is basically a fortress. Second, it's activating its signature move right now, a nightmare skill known as Bonefire. A massive wall of searing blue fire designed to instantly disintegrate absolutely anything it touches. Everyone panics. Meanwhile, that pathetic bully is actively cheering from the sidelines, begging for Tenma's absolute destruction. Looks like game over, right? Wrong. This is just the warm-up. Channeling his inner copy ninja, he's about to turn the tables entirely. Tenma's brain kicks into hyperdrive, instantly analyzing the blue flames. And here's the crazy part, his processing speed is actually accelerating exponentially. It speeds up every time he takes damage. His elite instructor is watching from afar, completely mind-blown by what's unfolding. Because surviving a direct hit from Bonefire, not even a veteran level 10 awakener could tank that kind of devastating heat. And honestly, he isn't exactly tanking it. His skin is literally melting off, revealing bare ribs as the flames consume his flesh. Yet he just stands there, farming aura, zero fear in his eyes. The only thing crossing his mind, the memory of his mother, the woman who died to these exact merciless flames. Watching this, the supervisor realizes something terrifying. Tenma is holding back his true power. Half his face is literally burned off. We're talking peak villain aesthetics here, but he doesn't even flinch. Absolute madness. He coldly promises to obliterate the beast the second his system finishes analyzing. Not gonna lie, this scene is just unbelievably raw and metal. His classmates filled with instant regret for ever doubting him. Suddenly they gasp as that glowing blue lotus erupts into the air again, a sign that an absolute miracle is loading. With his body barely holding together, Tenma finally grabs hold of his brand new skill, unlocking the Black Ice Wall, a perfect counter ability that instantly generates freezing armor over his flesh to completely deflect incoming fire. The moment he acquires it, his system kicks in completely, healing his damaged body back to 100%, snuffing out those relentless, unstoppable black flames completely. Tenma knows damn well that one single punch wasn't enough to finish this towering monster. But right now, with his stats newly boosted and a perfect counter ready, tearing this monster apart is basically guaranteed. Stunning blue lotus petals completely engulf his body, fully recharging him for round 2. Back to full health. His classmates, losing their absolute minds. They can't believe this guy is just shrugging off damage like an absolute god, healing right in the danger zone. Even the teacher is completely stunned watching him use high-tier recovery skills. Wait, didn't he just drop a massive lightning attack a second ago? Yeah. This kid is just wired completely differently. A true top-tier awakener. Seeing this crazy regeneration, they're literally wondering if he could rebuild a missing limb or even his brain from scratch. Wild thought, right? But honestly, right now, that skeleton boss is furious. It blasts another wave of roaring blue flames straight at him. But watch this, our boy summons a massive metallic ice armor right over his body. Those hellish blue flames, they can't even leave a scratch on his frost gear. He just completely nullified the boss's ultimate attack. Tearing right through the fire, he blasts forward like an absolute god of destruction. He weaves right past the monster's heavy swing and morphs that exact same ice into a massive jagged blade attached to his arm. I swear he looks like the final boss here, and we are just getting started with this story. Swinging that massive building-sized blade, Tenma slices the undead monster clean in half. Absolutely brutal. The whole crowd is paralyzed. Complete silence. His speed, insane. His power, off the charts. They literally couldn't even track his final movement with the naked eye. The ice armor shatters away. Fight's over. And Tenma just stands there flexing that he's unlocked the absolute peak of both offense and defense. His squad immediately rushes over and his buddy Rookie just tackles him with a massive hug. But wait, Seo ran off. She was terrified for him earlier. Tenma's completely clueless, wondering if she's mad. Meanwhile, the instructor and supervisor, still standing there with their jaws on the floor. A rookie kid just soloed a calamity beast. We're talking about a monster that level 100 veterans couldn't even scratch. The supervisor orders Cha to handle the cleanup and tell the academy principal one thing: they are taking this absolute prodigy with them. While his best friend is busy hyping him up like crazy, the high-ranking supervisor walks over. He wants a word, personally. The rest of the class, freaking out. They all know exactly what this means. Menno is totally about to recruit him. And get this, Menno is the exact same master who trained Jin Taewa, the undisputed strongest human alive. His standards are insanely high. His buddy instantly dips out, giving them some room to talk. The legendary Northern Commander looks at our boy, straight up praising his unbelievable talent. Tenma is super confused. But Menno isn't just looking at his power, he sees the dark, twisted rage burning deep inside the kid's soul. He wants to know what created that kind of pure hatred. And here it comes, the heavy backstory. Tenma reveals how his parents were killed. Flashback to 10 years ago. He was literally inches away from getting slaughtered by a skeleton beast right before an awakener stepped in. But it was too late. He had to stand there completely helpless, watching his mother burn alive in those hellish flames. Her final words, "Live strong, keep moving forward." Since that exact moment, a pure, unyielding hatred for all calamity beasts took root in his heart. His only goal, total extermination. He wants to hunt down the demon of ruin and slaughter every last monster breathing. Just talking about it brings that intense rage right back up. He cries and Mino catches something totally wild. Look closely. His left eye completely dry. Only his right eye sheds tears now. So eerie, right? This strange physical change, it started the exact day he lost his mom. Hearing this absolute tragedy, Menno officially makes his move. He offers to personally train Tenma as his own disciple, drafting him straight into the elite major leagues so he can actually hunt those monsters. Enter the Savior League. It's a massive powerhouse organization created strictly to massacre calamity beasts, heavily packed with the absolute strongest fighters on the planet. Basically, a top-tier military force of superhuman awakeners designed for pure monster extermination. They call their members Saviors. Join up and you get elite gear, crazy funding, and high-level training to farm those massive rewards. It's basically the ultimate dream job. Even a rookie makes 10,000 gold a month. Honestly, I'd risk my life for way less than that. Insane money, right? But obviously all these crazy perks come with a massive catch. Saviors deploy against calamity beasts the second duty calls. They are the absolute brutal frontline defending humanity from total ruin. But honestly, Tenma couldn't care less about the cash. He just wants a VIP ticket to slaughter monsters. It's strictly about payback for him. Our guy is literally aiming for Doomslayer status here. He instantly accepts the offer, learning that every single February, the league drops a massive exam on 10,000 hopefuls. It's all purely point-based. But out of all those thousands, only the absolute top 100 elites actually make the cut. Naturally, our boy immediately asks about the all-time highest score. Menno drops a wild number, 115,000 points. Set by none other than Jin Taewa, the apex predator of humanity. For 11 straight years, that record hasn't even been scratched. Hell, scoring just half of that practically guarantees you first place in the whole exam. Even Tenma respects this legend, the absolute beacon of humanity and the most terrifying weapon mankind has ever produced. But Menno shuts that down instantly, comparing his skills to the legendary Jin Taewa. Not a chance. That guy exists in an entirely different universe. But our boy, massive ego check. He looks Minu dead in the eye and promises to completely obliterate that record, leaving him speechless. It instantly triggers a memory, a flashback to his former student, Jin Taewa. The legend himself once predicted a monster would shatter his limits. The torch is officially being passed. A new sun rising to eclipse the old. That world-shaking potential stands right in front of him. Fast forward and we're looking at these massive stone monuments. Think of them as literal gateways tearing straight through into the monster dimension. Slaughtering monsters isn't enough. You have to shatter the monuments themselves or these freaks will just infinitely respawn. That massive fortress right ahead, custom built to lock these gateways down, preserving the monuments while trapping the calamity beasts inside. Basically, it turns a deadly threat into a hardcore testing ground, a literal boot camp for new saviors. The League calls it a stage. And trust me, the horrifying beasts lurking inside are completely feral and uncontrollable, which explains the insane body count. Rookies walk into these stage training grounds and get absolutely massacred, earning it the Rookie Graveyard title. For context, the absolute legend Jin Taewa completely cleared this exact stage in just 3 minutes. So Minu sets the bar impossibly high, expecting our boy to crush that same nightmare in under 3 minutes. Beat that timer, and Minu officially takes him in. Cut to the next scene. Minu is strolling around with the rookie, sparking all those wild rumors. The whispers start immediately. Bystanders are literally sizing him up against the legend of humanity's strongest warrior. Jaws are dropping everywhere. Nobody can quite process how a total rookie is casually walking shoulder to shoulder with Minu himself. While the peanut gallery gossips, our main guy just ignores them, checking the disaster rating. Level 10. That is 2 whole tiers higher than that skeletal freak, making him wonder what kind of horrors are waiting inside. Looking around at the terrified faces, Tenma is genuinely confused. Why is everyone acting like weak civilians who have never seen a stage? No hesitation. He walks straight up to the receptionist, demanding entry. She naturally pulls his file, asking for his party lineup, and our boy just looks at her deadpan. It's only me. Cue the incredibly awkward, heavy silence. She immediately takes offense, assuming this cocky kid is just flirting. Bro crashed straight into negative charisma territory and lost the girl instantly. Tenma completely clueless. Meanwhile, the background extras start laughing out loud, mocking this absolute clown for playing the edgy lone wolf. Sighing, he has to literally spell it out. He isn't trying to flirt, he simply wants to unlock the stage and start fighting. But her ego is huge. She assumes he is just backpedaling to save face from a brutally embarrassing public rejection. Pitying him, she practically grabs a pen ready to hand over her number to stop this suicidal idiot. Oh, big mistake. His eyes go cold as he warns her not to make him repeat himself. He has zero interest in her. The mission is his only focus. Shivering from his sudden killing intent, she frantically approves the request. Warning that his blood is on his own hands, she hands it over. Tenma immediately snaps the entry bracelet on. He clicks his tongue, annoyed by that massive waste of pre-battle time. The gallery of desperate onlookers lose their minds, calling him an absolute moron for rejecting a pretty girl to play the tough guy. Because here is the brutal reality. Any rookie walking solo into a level 10 zone is basically begging to get ripped apart. The power gap is pure despair. Amidst the trash talk, a few veterans secretly wonder how he plans to use his hidden gift. But there's one tiny detail. His official system level is still flat 0. To them, they are literally staring at a walking corpse. Whatever. Tenma taps his tag against the scanner. A digital hum echoes and the heavy dimensional gates slowly grind open. Boring paperwork, done. He rolls his shoulders, cracks his neck, and steps inside. Time to throw hands. The buzzer drops. 3 minutes on the clock. And instantly, boom, he launches himself forward with explosive, ground-shattering speed. The scale of this artificial arena is absolutely massive. And his first welcoming committee, a mutated level 4 Kodama waiting to strike. Honestly, it looks like a demonically cursed rabid hound. But nope. One flash of steel slaughters the nightmare instantly. Don't forget his frost magic. He can instantly manifest everything from razor-sharp longswords to heavy battle axes on the absolute fly. Blood hits the floor, drawing out the pack. Dozens of hungry wooden horrors crawl out, looking like twisted, terrifying anime mutations. Meanwhile, safely outside the arena, Aya strongly argues with her father. There were dozens of low-risk beginner zones he could have picked, yet he threw Tenma straight into the toughest first trial simple. He desperately needs to see if Tenma can surpass Jin, a direct comparison of their clear times. But Aya shakes her head, calling it impossible to dethrone humanity's ultimate weapon. Jin's limits shattered human boundaries long ago, but her father just smirks, questioning if she genuinely believes that. Her mind flashes back. Jin always seemed so warm. Right until she watched him casually obliterate a level 97 calamity beast, like it was absolutely nothing. She locked onto his eyes, cold, calculating, literally the gaze of a god, like this guy just totally left humanity in the dust and ascended to absolute deity status. Mano totally agrees, but get this, she sees that exact same insane potential in Tenma. It's just going to take some serious time for him to reach those godly heights. Think of Jin as humanity's divine savior. Tenma, complete opposite. He's more like a straight-up demon, completely swallowed whole by his own dark rage. Two wildly contrasting forces. Anyway, jumping back into the action, our boy just completely wiped the floor with that Kodama group. Zero effort. But here's the catch. His mimesis ability. It flat-out refuses to even bother scanning these absolute fodder monsters. Then bam, bro gets that classic "he's right behind me, isn't he chill," and instantly spins around with a brutal counter-slash. Shockingly, that one drops super fast too. Tenma's honestly starting to question if these disaster level 10 beasts are all just pathetic. But no, that makes zero sense. Otherwise, they wouldn't literally call this zone the rookie graveyard. He's missing a massive puzzle piece, and yep, he's dead on. The system suddenly flags a B-rank self-regeneration skill, immediately booting up the analysis process. Definitely didn't see this coming. The exact same monster he just sliced open rises right back up like an absolute titan. It instantly swarms him with thick vines. Turns out, slicing it up did absolutely nothing against that insane healing factor. No wonder this boss is practically unkillable. At level 10 strength, Tenma doesn't hesitate. He instantly triggers Black Ice Wall, coating both of his arms in razor-sharp freezing spikes. The game plan: hack this monstrosity into so many tiny pieces that its healing factor completely breaks down. While he's unleashing an absolute flurry of dual sword strikes, he's multitasking, running that system analysis cycle deep in the background. One massive strike literally cleaves the monster's head right down the middle. Still not enough to finish the job, though. Honestly, Tenma is having the time of his life ripping it apart. Seriously, he's the real monster here. He butchers it with so many blindingly fast slashes you'd swear the thing got trapped in a literal anime domain expansion. Boom. The creature finally shatters into absolute gory chunks. Fight over right. Thank God too, because Tenma's mana tank is flashing red from spamming that black ice skill way too hard. Oh, plot twist. This nightmare pulls a major villain move, fully regenerating back to peak health from literal scraps, just like Perfect Cell. Super frustrated, Tenma barely dodges the barrage, completely stunned by its persistence. But silver lining, every time it heals his analysis, speed gets a massive boost. Still, the pressure is getting way too intense. He's forced to actually conserve his remaining mana by totally shutting off his black ice attacks. The only smart play left: rely purely on his raw speed and just survive until that download finishes. But here's the absolute kicker: he is drastically running out of time too. Going full all or nothing, he screams, "Screw it," and ignites Thunderwave right alongside Black Ice Wall for one final desperate gamble. He relentlessly shreds through the vines, forcing back-to-back regenerations just to turbocharge his analysis. Because honestly, if that mana hits zero, he's dead meat. Then again, if this is his actual limit, he's completely okay with dying here. Better than living as some pathetic fake. Pouring everything into one final furious strike, Tenma goes straight for the decapitation. But man, time just ran out. His mana pool completely bottoms out, and instantly, he gets absolutely impaled, left with more bloody holes in his body than a block of cheese. This is literally his last breath. But then the Mimesis scan hits 100%, the one ability he has that costs 0 mana. The second it finishes, the blue lotus blooms instantly, stealing Lotus Burst straight from the monster's self-regeneration factor. The creature desperately swings to finish him off, but Lotus Burst is already live. It instantly turns all surrounding mana into one massive catastrophic bomb. Thanks to that perfectly timed mimesis completion, every single fatal wound on Tenma automatically stitches itself closed. The monster freezes in pure shock, and when our boy claps his hands, absolute hell unleashes. A blinding blast vaporizes the surrounding area, burning that unkillable nightmare down to literal ash. When the smoke clears, Tenma is staggering, totally battered by the shockwave of his own ultimate trump card. And get this, he caused all that insane devastation using only a third of his mana after stealing it back through mimesis. Absolutely broken. Fodder monsters are never going to be an issue again. Plus, we just got confirmation that mimesis basically gives him infinite health and mana hacks. Only a single drop item remains in the ashes. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, absolute pure chaos. The guild receptionist is practically hyperventilating over the poor rookie, begging management to call in an emergency rescue squad immediately. Even veteran Oga figured our boy was dead meat against a level 10 boss. But the real impossible challenge was beating that 2-minute mark. Then the unthinkable happens. The giant stage monitors flash a massive new record, completely shattering everyone's reality. An untouched 11-year speedrun record, totally crushed by Itsuki Tenma, who just obliterated that death trap in exactly 2 minutes and 14 seconds. He walks out looking like he just survived a war. Every hater instantly turned into a raving fanboy, because the ultimate underdog smashed Jin's record with a whole minute lead. Our boy steps right up to Mendu. So am I finally worthy of being your student? Oh, the master is hooked. He showers our guy with praise. Honestly, Agaya is shocked seeing her strict dad smile like that. Meanwhile, the crowd is totally clueless. They seriously think Ayumi carried his student to break Jin's unbeatable record. But nah, that is far from reality. The receptionist walks over absolutely mortified by her previous attitude. She completely catches him off guard, handing over a reward just for setting that crazy new record. Our guy plays it cool. He totally gets why she panicked over a random newbie rushing a high-tier zone. His smooth response, yeah, it catches her completely off guard, leaving the poor girl totally flustered and red-faced. Agaya immediately steps in, playfully warning our boy to drop the ego just because her dad officially took him in. Mendu realizes normal zones are a complete joke for this kid's talent. Time to crank the difficulty way up. He points him straight toward the advanced tier. Here's the catch. These ranks aren't just about raw beast power. The real nightmare, they're species type. Some are mindless grunts while others are actually way smarter than your average human. Those big-brained monsters, absolute hell to fight compared to regular beasts. Honestly, hunters and monsters basically run on the exact same logic. Humans rely on specific classes to show their true strength, while these creatures use their terrifying species traits. Advanced zones are swarming with these genius-level threats. Taking them down even at equal strength is an absolute brutal nightmare. So Tenma's next hunting ground, District 4 deep inside the Northern Territory. It hits him. Until now, he's just been stepping on brainless bugs that literally couldn't strategize to save their lives. The realization that intelligent enemies actually feel real pain, Tenma is absolutely thrilled. He cannot wait to torture them. Our boy actually leaks some seriously dark killing intent, hyped about finally securing some fresh screaming victims. Outside, the hype is absolutely unreal. Everyone's losing their minds watching an underdog completely shatter an 11-year streak like nothing. But hold up. Advanced zones are brutal, and every single one in District 4 is controlled by just one guy. Tons of hunters dive into these stages, looking for glory, only to vanish without a trace. The streets whisper about a shadow killer. One dummy accidentally drops Raji Kinoshida's name out loud. A friend quickly shuts him up before they get murdered. Turns out Raji is the local ward chief's son. A totally spoiled Nepo baby who literally demands VIP treatment everywhere. Every stage in District 4 is his personal playground. Waiting in line. That is just for pathetic rookies. Back with Tenma, he opens up the reward box and finds a crystal identical to his stage loot. Mendu is completely shocked he scored one right after dropping that boss beast. But wait, these two crystals, totally different. One glows a brilliant green. Agaya's jaw actually drops, because finding a mid-tier gem is incredibly rare. Tenma asks for the rundown on these karma stones. He quickly learns they are basically concentrated chunks of pure experience. Slaying monsters or taking out other hunters generates raw karma, basically your standard leveling points. Over time, this energy naturally forces your rank to increase. A karma stone, it is literally just that pure energy crystallized. Suck that energy in and your power skyrockets. The crazy mystery here is how one naturally spawned inside the dungeon itself. His master finally breaks the silence. He suspects Tenma's unique ability directly caused this glitch, leaving them both utterly speechless. Normally, the raw life essence from a defeated enemy is directly siphoned into the winner. But guess what? Slaying two massive disasters didn't level Tenma up even once, meaning his body completely rejected the energy absorption. Mendu drops his wild theory. All the karma Tenma earned from his kills, the nearby hunters were actually soaking it up like leeches instead of him. Inside that isolated stage though, totally different story. Zero bystanders around to steal his points. Since Tenma physically cannot absorb his own loot, the raw energy forcefully hardened into solid stone instead. Agaya actually starts stressing out over this. If our guy cannot naturally level up, is his growth totally capped? Her dad instantly shuts down her questions about Tenma's powers. A secret weapon needs to stay a complete secret, obviously. Anyway, Mendu gives some solid advice. If he cannot absorb the rock, just pawn it for crazy cash. The master announces he is dipping out to attend a massive summit with the 5 continental leaders. His daughter is basically on babysitting duty now. But before vanishing, he drops some heavy ground rules. Keep the apprenticeship completely hidden, and whatever you do, never leak the details of your broken ability. Rule number 3. The master expects our boy to completely conquer 6 advanced dungeons before he even gets back. And the final rule, total freedom. Tenma is greenlit to use his insane powers however he wants. The rookie smirks, fully accepting the mission as the scene cuts straight to the brutal northern district. The local awakeners are absolutely fuming. Even though it's their turn, they're getting blocked out. Why? Because Reiji Kinoshida's personal guards are hogging the spot. Not backing down, the crowd tells these gatekeepers to kick rocks. They start trash-talking Reiji, calling him nothing but a spoiled, rich little brat. They threaten to report him to the Hunter Guild. But man, they pushed the wrong buttons today. Bam! The loudest trash talker gets absolutely launched into a wall. In retaliation, someone fires off a massive B-rank earth spike right at this hulking guard. But wait for it. 0 damage. The brute's face literally turns into solid metal, leaving the attacker completely, utterly dumbfounded. That attack shreds monsters like wet paper, yet this freak just tanked it. Before anyone blinks, the giant snatches both of his arms. And crash. A brutal headbutt knocks him out cold. Just like that, a level 7 and a level 8 awakener are completely down for the count. They couldn't even scratch Reiji's bodyguard. Let me introduce you to Takeru Oga. He's one of the 4 absolute strongest heavy hitters, working under Reiji's banner. Oh, and he's a level 12 metal bender. This armored menace gives the crowd a grim reminder. Defy Reiji's orders and you're stepping into an early grave. He won't even let the bystanders drag the 2 unconscious awakeners away to safety. He fully plans on torturing them right there. His buddy warns Takeru to chill out a bit since the whole crowd is watching. Suddenly, a blur of motion. Someone blitzes past the giant, catching the injured guy right into his arms. It's Tenma. The whole crowd thinks our main character is just some weak loser who signed his own death warrant. Even the enemy calls him a complete moron, giving him one last warning for defying Reiji. But Tenma doesn't care. He knows he has to get into that dungeon zone immediately, and this metal giant is standing right in his way. Meanwhile, Ida frantically calls the higher-ups. But our boy, he's doing things his way. Remembering his mentor's advice to trust his gut, he drops the injured guy with Ida and steps up. Suddenly, a terrifying heavy aura explodes from him, insane for a level 0. Takeru is completely baffled that this bottom-tier rookie is actually stepping up. Yet somehow the giant feels an overwhelming pressure creeping in. It makes him seriously wonder if this kid is hiding some crazy hidden talent. Still trusting his massive level advantage, Takeru assumes this is an easy win. But then, the absolute shock of his life hits him. Boom! Our boy blitzes forward with impossible speed, planting a clean, heavy punch right onto the giant's face. The entire crowd goes dead silent, unable to process that godlike speed. Luckily, Takeru activated his metal armor just in time. He shielded the impact, taking 0 damage. Now furious, the brute coats his massive arms in solid steel and swings down with everything he's got. He praises the kid's speed but laughs at his pathetic damage output. Our boy smoothly dodges. Tenma knows the truth though. He just lost his one golden chance to surprise this high-leveled beast. His only option now, fire up his Thunderwave skill and push it to the absolute maximum limit. Tenma fires up his analysis process in the background. That metal armor is seriously dangerous, minimizing every single impact, which means playtime is officially over. Tenma realizes that basic physical hits are completely useless against this walking tank. The strategy is simple: target the exposed flesh for massive damage. He winds up a brutal high kick aimed at the head, but Takeru blocks it right at the last possible second. The giant smirks, mocking the weakling's pathetic speed. But guess what? That is exactly our boy's master plan. He's literally conditioning the guy to misjudge his top speed. Now he cranks Thunderwave into overdrive, catching Takeru completely and utterly off guard. Seeing a rookie bust out rare lightning magic, insane. Our boy accelerates, pushing his speed to such an unbelievable godlike level that he literally unleashes a dozen lightning-fast punches, landing every single strike with perfect precision. Meanwhile, the background analysis is still running hot. Jaws drop everywhere. The crowd finally realizes this level 0 rookie is actively juggling multiple skills, and with 0 openings. Unable to activate his armor, Takeru is panicking. How the hell does a bottom-tier kid possess this terrifying rank-breaking speed? Caught in an absolute storm of rapid-fire strikes, the giant is suffocating. He can't even catch a breath to scream for backup. Backed into a bloody corner and completely desperate, the big guy decides it is time to drop his absolute trump card. And yeah, that trump card involves shredding his shirt to flex that demonic back musculature. But jokes aside, the dude literally turns into living steel. He triggers 100% full-body metallization. Talk about an ego. Check, this is the first time he's ever been pushed this far. The stats are wild. His metal body gets a 50% defense buff, plus another 50% stacked on top if he stands completely perfectly still. Not gonna lie, I love that we can literally say his nerves are titanium right now. Anyway, Takeru smirks, actually feeling grateful for this combat evolution. Hitting this unstoppable state, he promises to grant the rookie a quick death. I mean, his defense just broke past level 12. The crowd is terrified, wondering if anyone in that tier could possibly crack that armor. But honestly, that's not gonna matter in about 60 seconds. Because Tenma's background analysis just finished. Our boy casually smirks, pointing out a massive flaw. Takeru dumped every single stat point into pure defense. He completely neglected his mana pool. Takeru tries to play it cool, but deep down he's sweating bullets because the kid read him like an open book. Tenma chuckles, promising he won't even wait for that mana to drain out. Nah, he is wrapping this up right now. A glowing blue lotus blooms, and boom, Tenma's power evolves to a whole new level. This massive, beautiful flower completely stuns the crowd. They are so confused, right? Like, how is a pretty little plant supposed to crush this metal freak? Skill unlocked. He earns the clear orb piercing true sphere. Think of it as a cheat code, an ability that guarantees damage every single time. But here's the catch. The range and speed absolutely terrible. It moves so slowly that literally anyone paying attention could just step aside. So Tenma has to play it smart. He needs perfect timing to shatter that thick armor Takeru will not shut up about. Skill activates. Our guy's stats just skyrocket even higher as he actually summons this deadly armor-breaking sphere. Standing way back, he openly taunts his opponent to just try and dodge the next attack. The crowd is losing their minds over this confidence. Honestly, what crazy move is he about to pull off now? The orb floats forward. So, painfully, slow. It is tiny too. Honestly, getting hit by this thing seems absolutely impossible right now. The deadly projectile is so incredibly small that our metalhead villain literally just stands there, decides to tank it head-on. Big mistake. He totally underestimates Tenma's ultimate move. The orb touches his arm, and boom, pure terror in his eyes. Total destruction. His arm literally explodes into a fountain of blood, and get this, Tenma straight up warned the idiot to move out of the way. That was mercy, guys. He deliberately targeted the arm. If this was an actual monster, he would have gone straight for a one-hit kill. Teru is absolutely screeching in agony. Meanwhile, Tenma coldly tells the guy's lackeys to drag him to a hospital. They pathetically scoop him up and run for it. And once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Hold up, wrong, show my bad. Anyway, the crowd treats Tenma like an absolute legend. Everyone is begging to party up with him to speedrun stages. It actually gets chaotic. People are literally throwing hands with each other just for a chance to recruit our guy. But Tenma, he couldn't care less. He is just busy admiring his new skill, something capable of shredding a tank like Takeru himself. Oh, and it gets better. Every time it kills an enemy with higher defense than Tenma, the orb's speed permanently increases. Broken right. The two lackeys are literally begging him to join their squad now. His answer, hard pass. Solo leveling is his style anyway. And boom, the crowd flips again. They call him absolutely crazy for attempting an advanced stage alone simply because he got lucky against a defense tank. These bystanders, their opinions change incredibly fast. They fully expect this madman to die out there. With the haters gone, Minu's daughter drops a warning: every monster ahead has defense matching Takeru. Translation: our boy better watch his mana bar or he is completely screwed. Tenma just shrugs it off with confident energy. She gets totally flustered, mostly because his death means her dad will absolutely humiliate her for it. Aga drops some crucial intel. Those stone beasts hunt in massive packs, but honestly, they are incredibly stupid. So Tenma can easily exploit them to drain their mana. The bracelet flashes green, and our boy confidently steps into his next massive challenge. Even he didn't expect to face quite this many gigantic rock lizards suddenly. And their stats, absolutely off the charts, way stronger than any garbage tier mobs he fought earlier. A massive Colossus statue rushes him, full speed ahead. Tenma's response: he immediately summons that piercing orb to counter their ridiculous defense stats. Not gonna lie, those glowing lotus petals, totally giving off Archer's Row Ace vibes from the Fate series. Just saying. Anyway, the tiny orb hits the charging statue. Boom, it drills a massive hole clean through its body, instantly deleting it. Level up. The orb's speed instantly doubles, which is a total game changer for Tenma. Then 3 more of these terrifying statues lunge forward. But our boy channels pure Killua energy. Lightning sparks and he blitzes right past them completely unbothered. He nukes all 3 monsters with an explosive strike, burning a third of his mana. But brace yourself, 2 more beasts suddenly attack from opposite sides. He literally drops a hollow purple combo to finish them with his piercing orb. Step 1, dodge them perfectly so the statues violently crash into one another. Step 2, take the high ground and drop a devastating piercing orb right on them. The projectile is way faster now. It slices right through, instantly executing both giant monsters in one clean shot. But then Tenma stumbles. He is completely drained, mana bar hitting 0. Managing his energy has become a massive headache, so a recovery skill is desperately needed. Still, the progress, absolutely solid. That deadly orb is already up to 5 meters per second now. But bro completely forgot the final enemy. A massive monster crashes down from above, unleashing absolute literal destruction. One of these beasts secretly activated a rare gigantification skill, literally turning into a Godzilla-level threat. The sheer size is absolutely terrifying, but Tenma stays cool, pushing his lightning speed to the absolute limit. He is sprinting upward like the Flash. Problem is, he has no clue if his tiny orb can actually pierce something this gigantic. Carefully locking his target, he aims directly for the monster's head and unleashes one final piercing shot. But checking the distance, Tenma instantly knew the truth. That tiny little orb, barely going to leave a scratch. And the Titanic stone statue wasn't just going to stand there. Incoming, a massive, earth-shattering fist swung right back. Caught mid-air, nowhere to run. Our boy had zero options left except spamming his black ice just to survive the impact. Boom, the sheer force still sent him flying like a ragdoll, smashing straight into the closest wall. Yeah, this fight, way tougher than he bargained for. But then the system kicked in. Automatic analysis mode activated. And that signature smirk crept right back onto our protagonist's face. Meanwhile, let's check in on Rai. One of his lackeys ran in absolutely panicking. And honestly, the noise alone was enough to annoy this arrogant noble. But the news he brought, massive. Get this, someone actually defeated Takeru and waltzed right into an advanced stage. Hearing that, Rai was furious. His spoiled elitist pride just could not accept that someone of Takeru's tier could actually take an L. In his mind, only one thing made sense. A level 30 powerhouse must have stepped in. But here's the catch, fighters at that tier are top-tier professionals. They handle the real-deal life-or-death missions. They definitely aren't wasting time bullying rookies, especially since everyone in this facility is hovering around level 10. So our budget villain here simply refused to believe a level 10 nobody pulled this off. Time to take matters into his own hands. Rai was going in. He figured if they moved fast, they could intercept the culprit. His right-hand man literally begged him to play it safe. But arrogance makes you blind. Ignoring every warning, Rai just wanted blood. Nobody messes with the Kinoshita family name and gets away with it. Time to teach some manners. Back to the real action. Somehow Tenma totally tanked that hit, and boom analysis hit 100%. Safely tucked inside his Lotus Shield, the system confirmed the giant killer skill was ready. But weirdly enough, no brand new ability dropped this time. Instead, his piercing orb leveled up to tier 2. The upgrade, he could now completely control its size at will. Plus, the passive speed boost literally doubled. Not waiting around, Tenma fired up his newly evolved weapon to test its limits. He poured everything into it. Every single drop of mana he had left went into forming the absolute strongest piercing orb he had ever created. And it hit like a tactical nuke. Total devastation. Our guy even hit the iconic Gojo pose right after the dust settled. Absolute madman. He actually wondered if he overdid it a little. But whatever. Crushing that stone golem was a massive step forward in his master plan. The orb's speed skyrocketed to 7 meters per second. 2 more stage clears and this thing would literally be moving as fast as a speeding car. Turns out those passive buffs he barely paid attention to were absolute game changers. That Lotus Burst ability, it was pushing all his other skills to the max. Do the math. If he keeps leveling up that Lotus Burst passive, he will be effortlessly sniping boss-tier monsters from thousands of meters out. Unreal. 3 minutes. That is all it took to clear the advanced stage. A brand new record that left every single Awakener outside completely speechless. Jaws were literally on the floor. How the hell was this absolute monster still considered a level 0? The system logic was totally broken. And there he was, strolling out looking completely refreshed. Not a single scratch. Even Aja stood there absolutely mesmerized by his casual flex. She hyped him up for clearing it so insanely fast. But honestly, he knew it was all thanks to that crazy new piercing orb upgrade. Right then, something caught his eye. A gorgeous little creature fluttering right beside her, a jade butterfly. Turns out Ageha was actually a Shikigami user. Though not gonna lie, most guys would be too distracted by her stunning figure to even notice the magic pet. Seriously, we all know what the viewers are looking at. Anyway, Tenma reached out casually, praising the glowing creature's beauty. Then he dropped a bombshell. He actually asked her how the whole job system worked. She looked at him like he had 2 heads. How did he not know the basics? She broke it down for him. In this world, jobs fall into 4 main categories. And get this, our guy had already crossed paths with 3 of them. Number 1, the elementalists. Fire, water, wind, you name it. They are the standard fighters you see literally everywhere. And they pack the biggest punch in raw combat. That annoying bully from his class, Takeru, yeah, both of them fit right into this heavy-hitting group. Type number 2, Shikigami users. That's right, we are talking spirit summoning magic total Megumi from Jujutsu Kaisen energy here. These spirit beasts are bound to their master from day 1. It is a lifelong partnership, exactly why she had that butterfly chilling with her. She paused, waiting for him to process the lore. But Tenma, he was just shocked to realize her cute little butterfly was actually a higher level than she was. He straight up asked if she was even a real veteran. Ouch. Bro absolutely shattered her pride with zero hesitation and no sugarcoating whatsoever. Flustered Ageha quickly corrected him. That is just how the magic works. Shikigami naturally sit at a higher power tier than the human controlling them. Hearing that Tenma's ruthless tactical brain instantly clicked. If the pet is the tank, you just assassinate the squishy master first. Simple logic. As those dark thoughts crossed his mind, a terrifying murderous aura leaked out. And Ageha, she felt that chill right down to her bones. Snapping back to reality, he waited for the rest of the lesson. The third category, completely shrouded in mystery, barely any information exists on it. Why? Because it is exactly what our protagonist is. The ultra-rare rule-bending class known only as the Order Breaker. The catch with these rule breakers, every single one of them has a completely unique, unpredictable power set. No two are ever alike. And Tenma, with his insane Blue Lotus abilities, he was about to show this world exactly how different an Order Breaker could be. We are talking about Awakeners doing insane stuff, shifting their size, or even pulling out shadow clones like straight out of an anime. How does power work here? Skills for every single job fall into 4 strength pyramids ranging from rank C to rank S. But Order Breakers, they completely break the system. They possess unique Z-tier abilities totally different from the rest. That unique, unpredictable power, it is exactly why everyone treats the Order Breaker class with absolute, unquestioning respect. But there is a catch. The second an enemy figures out how their power actually works, boom, their biggest advantage instantly vanishes. Which completely explains why her dad Minu strictly warned Ageha against asking questions about our boy's secret powers. Except Tenma is not even a normal Order Breaker. He is a total anomaly. She literally watched him fire off 3 completely different skills. 2 of those were straight-up elementalist moves. Meanwhile, Tenma, he is getting seriously annoyed that she keeps analyzing him like a science project. So he flips the script asking about that mysterious 4th job class. But she completely shuts him down, calling it payback for him keeping so many secrets to himself. Right before taking off, Ageha asks about his next move. The plan. He is just going to grind that exact same advanced stage over and over again. She has to remind our clueless guy about basic dungeon mechanics. Stages have cooldowns. He is locked out for at least 2 whole days. Talk about a massive roadblock. He literally never considered cooldown timers. And honestly, it is the exact reason that scumbag Ragi hoards these stages. Since leveling his piercing orb is off the table, our boy pivots. He can definitely upgrade his Lotus Burst skill instead. So he demands a totally different stage. Something packed with an absolutely massive number of disaster beasts. Our Walmart Maki Zenin actually knows the perfect spot. The monster levels are pretty low tier, but the sheer quantity, off the charts. We are talking about a massive swarm of giant locusts, over 100 of them. It is an absolute nightmare zone without serious area of effect damage. Naturally, she warns him to stay away. What she does not realize, our boy is already armed with Lotus Burst, the ultimate explosive wipeout skill. He brushes off every single warning like it is nothing. Everyone else, just standing there in pure shock that he actually wants this locust swarm. Plus, they are absolutely terrified. Ragi will show up for payback soon, and they want to be long gone before hell breaks loose. Speak of the devil. That arrogant scumbag finally reaches the zone only to realize his prey has already slipped right through his fingers. Someone actually cleared his precious stage in record time. Unbelievable. You can practically see Ragi's blood boiling with pure, unfiltered rage. He is convinced this mystery player is mocking him on purpose. He barks orders at his lackeys to track down leftover mana traces. Time to call in a specialist, someone named Hound. Ragi wants our boy captured alive. Why? Because he wants to personally torture him to death. This guy really thinks he is untouchable. Meanwhile, in another area, some poor awakener is barely clinging to life. He is being hunted down by Hound Ragi's personal attack dog. The guy even used a stealth escape skill, but that massive wild beast still sniffed him out. The monstrous creature literally tears into him with its jaws right as Ragi's other agent strolls up to collect. Insanely enough, the guy trapped in its bloody teeth is still breathing. Coughing up blood, he begs to know how they even tracked him. The answer? This guy's terrifying pet wolf has god-tier smell. It tracks down literally any target with absolute ease. Meet Charles the Hound. He is a ruthless executioner sent here specifically to wipe out targets without leaving a single trace for Ragi. The broken guy begs for mercy. But Charles, cold as ice. He mercilessly lets his wolf feast on human flesh. And just like that ding, the kill grants them a sweet level up. Charles casually taps his comms, reporting back that the trash is dead. But then, a massive bombshell. He learns that Teru just suffered absolutely devastating injuries in battle. Huge red flag. Charles gets summoned back to Ragi's coordinates, grinning because fresh prey just dropped. Meanwhile, Tenma finally arrives right outside the new stage. Our boy wonders why there is a literal sea of monstrous bugs here. Ageha drops some knowledge monsters always gravitate toward specific environmental conditions. That is exactly why top-tier awakeners must study terrain lore. These advanced stages, way too lethal. They do not even have receptionist staff stationed outside. But Tenma is super confused. Why is this whole sector on total lockdown? I mean, the monsters inside are only level 13 tops. Here is the best part about normal dungeons. If things get too difficult, you can just hit the emergency exit. But this locust zone, absolutely no way out. You make one tiny mistake, and that buzzing swarm will instantly rip you to bloody shreds. Awakeners get devoured alive for breakfast. Brutal nightmare fuel. Nothing remains but their polished white bones. Does that terrify our protagonist? Not even a little bit. He is practically smiling. To him, this is the perfect playground to farm monster kills. Ageha looks at him like he is a total idiot. But Tenma. He confidently steps inside with massive level-up goals. She stands there stressing out over whether her warnings were enough, and then her heart drops. She forgot to mention one crucial life-or-death detail. The catch. Those damn locusts literally have an infinite respawn glitch until the boss is slaughtered. Panic sets in. She tries to force her way inside the portal to warn him, but right then, a violently oppressive aura freezes her tracks. Enter Charles the Hound. He locks onto her with demonic eyes, casually asking about his target. And boom, we cut straight back to Tenma's chaotic dungeon dive. He literally claps his hands to wake up the swarm. Why? Just so he can absolutely slaughter them on repeat. Sure, they are only level 1 absolute trash tier. But honestly, the insane numbers make this farm totally worth it. Hundreds of them blacken the sky. So Tenma casually throws up his black ice armor, perfectly prepping his signature Lotus Burst technique. The crazy plan. Let these pests swarm him from all sides. Let them think they are winning, and then, total detonation. Perfect timing. He triggers the burst, completely wiping the entire swarm off the map in one single flash. Nothing but ash left. And just like that, Lotus Burst hits level 2. The blast radius jumps to a massive 10 meters. Literally doubled. He figures these low-tier mobs are basically free points. Spamming skills barely scratches his mana pool, making this an absolute breeze. 10 more blasts. 100 kills per drop. If he pulls this off, his skill power is going to skyrocket by 1000%. But wait. Reality check. This zone definitely has to have respawn cooldowns, which immediately kills his little hype moment right there. He taps his tracker, totally confused. Where is the stage clear screen? Nothing is popping up. Instead, a massive boss aura hits him, Matriarch's Will. His analysis passive instantly kicks into overdrive to read the data. Scanning the area for leftovers, he spots something wild. The dead bugs. They are getting sucked straight into a massive, creepy vortex. He immediately jumps back, putting serious distance between them. Is this the boss making its move? It definitely has to be. He definitely got too relaxed. Grinding skill levels is great and all, but here is the huge problem. The boss is completely hidden, leaving him totally blind. The only viable play here, keep absolutely wiping out these trash mobs until the big bad is finally forced to show up. Lotus Burst round 2, boom, another blast instantly slaughters the newest wave. 16 meters now, the blast gets even chunkier. But after this second total wipeout, our boy is seriously wondering where the hell is the boss. The exact same bugs just keep coming back. An endless glitch of pests that absolutely refuse to stay dead. Bad news though, he only has enough mana for 9 more bursts. He raises his hand again. Time for round 3. He swears to crush them no matter how many times they respawn. Boom. The third massive blast deletes another 100 pests instantly. He just keeps spamming it. The explosion radius hits an insane 54 meters, but here's the catch. He is down to his very last shot. And the bugs, still coming back. A fresh, endless wave rises up, and for the first time, our guy actually starts to panic. Why? Because his mana tank is basically hitting 0 and he still has absolutely no way to actually fight the main boss. He could totally just run away and exit. But his pride, way too massive for that. Flexing hard, he preps one final absolute slaughter. The biggest Lotus Burst yet completely rips through the zone, draining our boy's energy down to the absolute bare minimum. But nope, they rise again, and his skill analysis, still painfully loading. Yeah, it officially hits him right here. He screwed up big time. The queen literally has an infinite spawn cheat, meaning the only actual way to clear this nightmare is taking her head. But how do you boss hunt with literally 0 mana? Right on cue, his system analysis finally hits 100% completion. A Lotus aura completely wraps around him, perfectly adapting to her trap. Boom, new detection skill unlocked just to ruin the queen's day. It has an absolutely broken passive effect, so overpowered that he could literally keep the boss alive just to infinite farm these mobs forever. An unlimited farming glitch, but sadly, Aegea is waiting for him outside. Time to speedrun this and finish the job right now. Skill activated. His senses explode outward like a radar, perfectly mapping out the entire zone to hunt down his hidden prey. Ping. The radar catches the queen hiding right below the dirt, and honestly, that was all the opening he ever needed. Then total Gojo mode. He channels his own version of Hollow Purple, launching it straight down to delete this annoying pest. The destructive energy orb violently drills into the earth, dragging the panicked queen right out from her safe zone into plain sight. Bam! He hits her with a brutal slashing strike, ending her instantly. Hive mind shattered, the remaining bugs are thrown into pure panic. But he is definitely not letting them run. One last explosive send-off completely vaporizes the remaining swarm, closing out the stage permanently. His blast radius hits a staggering 65 meters. Talk about a massive power-up session from just one single zone. He fully plans to come back and abuse this glitch later. But for now, stage cleared in 17 minutes flat. New record. Stepping out, he hopes Aja is okay, half expecting she completely bailed on him. Honestly, he kind of digs her awkward, quirky personality. But the second he exits, pure rage. Aja is covered in cuts, getting brutally choked out by some guy named Charles. Seeing Tenma walk out totally unharmed, that is all the proof this hound needs. This is exactly the target his boss wanted. And yeah, the One Piece is totally real. Furious Tenma locks eyes with him, straight up ordering the guy to drop her. Or else he is a dead man. Charles just smirks, thinking this level 0 rookie is way too cocky for his own good. Big mistake. Tenma literally teleports right into his face, going for the instant kill. Panicking hard, Charles desperately summons his wolf, Shikigami, to survive. Boom, the beast just eats the attack completely. His mimic skill fires up, and Tenma instantly connects the dots. This guy, a Shikigami user. Charles tries to read the room, but our guy is already moving. We're talking absolute blur-level speed here. No wonder Takaru got stomped. But here's the real problem. Charles has the ultimate dirty play. He's holding the girl hostage. Tenma hesitates. Worried about her that single second of distraction, huge mistake, the beast lunges right at his throat. And get this, that monster death, its bite force is completely broken. It can shatter players with maxed out defense stats like glass. But Charles just stares, jaw dropped. Tenma erupts with massive black ice spikes over his arm for instant protection. Then our boy raises his free hand. Boom. A lethal piercing sphere charges up and absolutely wipes the monster out. One shot. Dead. With the Grim Reaper pet out of the picture, Charles is next on the menu. And honestly, he should be an absolute cakewalk. But the veteran hunter smirks. He thinks our rookie has zero clue about the annoying respawn cheat. That beast has a B-rank skill called Respawn Desire. Its cooldown timer, practically non-existent, instant revive. The monster respawns and snaps its razor-sharp jaws at him. But honestly, zero stress here. Tenma's Omnisense skill saw it coming miles away. He casually smacks it down again, barely even trying. His system analysis is almost at 100%. But spawning his Lotus skill right now, that would basically hand Charles his combat secrets. Meanwhile, Charles is losing his mind. He's fighting a dude with godlike speed, insane power, and way too many broken cheats. His only saving grace, Aja. He aggressively tightens his grip around her neck, screaming that he'll execute her right there if Tenma moves. Our protagonist just wanted a clean scan without triggering that flashy Lotus effect. But fate had other plans. The analysis hits max, unlocking an absolutely insane counter skill called Shikigami Eater. One single touch, that's all he needs to permanently steal another player's summon. Talk about the ultimate payback skill. But skipping that Lotus animation came with a heavy cost. He totally locked himself out of his own automatic health regeneration buffs. A fair trade-off, honestly. Plus the guy hasn't even taken a single scratch yet. Healing would be completely pointless right now. Time for a test drive. He targets the charging beast with his brand new stealing skill. He activates the power, casually smacks the monster's head, instantly rewires its loyalty, and punts it across the room at literal lightning speed. Charles sees his pet get launched again. He curses, calling the beast a completely useless mutt. He squeezes Ajaha's neck tighter, threatening to snap it. But honestly, she isn't even worried about herself right now. Tenma dramatically throws his hands up, pure cinematic surrender to save her, and Charles he's grinning, thinking this arrogant kid finally learned his place. But here's the thing. Tenma's just standing there, genuinely wondering why he's even on their hit list to begin with. Charles thinks he's just acting clueless after starting a war. So the villain starts talking, revealing how Reiji has been throwing tantrums ever since some mystery player completely hijacked his high-level dungeons, hence the bounty. Charles was hired to be the executioner. Hearing Reiji's name again, that seriously annoys Tenma. Sounds like he and Reiji are desperately overdue for a very private, violent little chat. Oh, Charles guarantees that meeting will happen. But first, he's ordering his shadowy pet to literally chew off our protagonist's legs. And the ultimatum summon that ice armor and Ageha's neck gets instantly snapped. He screams the attack order. But little does he know, the Uno reverse card just dropped. The beast turns and viciously chomps down on its own master. With a burst of thunderous speed, Tenma safely catches Ageha. The shocked hunter just stares, completely failing to understand this betrayal. Our boy pats his new demonic dog. But oh no, he is definitely not finished making this absolute scumbag pay for threatening Ageha. Tables turned totally. The ruthless hunter is now pathetic prey, literally crying for mercy and swearing he'll assassinate Reiji instead. Complete coward. Tenma just laughs at that garbage offer. Out of desperation, a manic Charles launches one last suicidal attack at our guy. The knife barely grazes Tenma. With zero hesitation, he casually signals his new pet to give Charles a taste of his own torturous medicine. Not gonna lie, this absolute karma hits exactly like that iconic Game of Thrones scene with Ramsay's brutally satisfying end. The dark beast coldly stares down its next meal. That once arrogant hunter is now whimpering like a totally helpless animal. Jaws snap shut. Game over. Charles is completely erased, and Tenma finally gets his satisfying revenge. But the show isn't over. He loudly calls out the rat who's been secretly watching this entire bloodbath from the shadows. Time's up. Busted. The stalker steps out nervously. But honestly, Tenma still has his dark bloodlust mode completely activated, so he immediately demands to know if this guy is working for Charles too. The dude completely panics, waving his hands to deny everything, but Tenma zero time for this side quest. He casually orders his beast to finish eating and heal. The beast finishes its brutal meal and fades away. See, even a nightmare hound like Death completely bends to Tenma's absolute authority. The blonde guy is absolutely convinced our protagonist is his golden ticket. He steps up, introducing himself as Iberia. He immediately starts hyping up Tenma's insane combat skills. He already knows him as the absolute beast who crushed Takeru. He pitches a deal offering heavy payouts, karma stones, high-tier weapons, you name it. But our boy, he straight up rejects everything and turns his back. No other awakener would ever walk away from a massive payday like that. But here's the thing about negotiations. You have to offer what a person actually needs. A sword for an avenger, medicine for the bleeding. And that hits Iberia like a truck. He suddenly realizes he has the exact perfect bargaining chip for this situation. He knows Tenma cannot just speed blitz out of there right now. Why? Because Aja is badly hurt. If he tries to run her to a hospital, she bleeds out on the way. So Iberia whips out a massive lifesaver, a mystical healing scroll. And just like that, Tenma stops dead in his tracks. He slowly turns around. Pure relief washes over our cold protagonist's face. This item, it is exactly what he needs to save his friend's life. They quickly lay her down and patch her wounds. This is not normal medicine. It is a rare artifact fused from shadow and wood spirit materials. Tenma looks confused, so Iberia drops some crucial world building. Normal human weapons, completely useless against disaster beasts. Guns literally do nothing here. That is where crafters come in. These absolute geniuses forge entirely new gear using monolith fragments and monster parts. We call them artifacts, and the ranking system is pretty standard. 4 rarity tiers. Common, rare, epic, and the absolute highest, unique. Common tier is your basic starter pack. Simple blades that can actually damage low-level beasts and standard awakeners. Rare tier steps it up. These bad boys boost your raw stats like an elemental blade. Epic artifacts. Now we are talking serious power. They give massive stat boosts, plus insane special effects, like a crazy overpowered blood sword. And finally, the absolute peak of the mountain. The god tier gear. The unique class. We are talking game-breaking signature skills. Holy swords and legendary gear. Crafters might not fight, but their value is immeasurable. Every top-tier awakener owes their life to crafters. Tenma listens, realizing Iberia's dad makes these. But his dad is not just some random blacksmith. Listen to this. In the entire world, only 10 unique artifacts exist. Total. And get this. His dad personally forged 3 of them. 3. They literally call him the Artisan King of the North. Absolute royalty status, right? But honestly, our pragmatic protagonist could not care less about the family lore drop. He ignores him completely, checking out the crossbow he looted from Charles earlier. Turns out it is an artifact too. Iberia is absolutely speechless. He just dropped his legendary family history and Tenma literally shrugged it off. That crossbow, it is rare tier. It has 0 bolts loaded, but Iberia explains that high-end gear generates its own magical ammo. Suddenly, the weapon vanishes into thin air. Tenma blinks in shock. Just another crazy artifact feature. They are totally soul-bound, storing themselves in a pocket dimension. Tenma absolutely loves that mechanic. He thanks Iberia for saving Aja's life. A life debt is serious, and Tenma promises to repay it. But right now, he is going after Rai. Iberia panics, warning that soloing Rai is absolute suicide. Tenma does not care. He is out for blood. The funny thing though, both of these guys actually share the exact same enemy. Rai never personally attacked Iberia, but the blonde guy has an idea. A team-up. They should join forces for the Savior Alliance tournament qualifiers. The tournament. Tenma remembers the rules perfectly. Only the absolute top 10 candidates get tickets to the main event. That is exactly why our boy has been grinding advanced stages like a madman power leveling for this specific test. But how does a tournament help him destroy Rai? Iberia reveals that qualifiers are locked by continent. And since Rai is the chief's golden boy, he is practically forced to enter this event with his older brother. Here is the catch. If both brothers fail to hit the top 10, the mighty Kinoshita family loses massive face, total humiliation. That is why Rai is violently monopolizing the grinding stages. He is hoarding resources to secure victory. Tenma narrows his eyes. Why is this rich kid helping him so much? Iberia laughs, admitting he just genuinely admires Tenma's raw strength. His gut tells him they can crush the qualifiers together. But Tenma senses something else. Why is Iberia so desperate to enter right now? Pushed for the real truth, Iberia finally drops his guard. Growing up, he watched his legendary father forge weapons with absolute awe. He idolized the man. His one lifelong dream, awaken his powers, step onto the battlefield and wield his dad's incredible masterpieces. But reality hits hard. Even after awakening, his dad flat out refused to forge him any gear. He literally called his own son unworthy of his art. Despite begging, the old man stayed ice cold. His ultimatum, pass the brutal qualifiers or never touch his weapons again. And that right there, that is exactly why clearing these qualifiers is absolute life or death for him. No backups, no plan B. Listening to this, Tenma puts the pieces together. I mean, the guy is the son of a legendary crafter. He should have top-tier fighters lining up around the block to party up. So why on earth would he pick a level 0 nobody? Makes zero sense, right? Well, here's the catch. His dad set a brutal rule: if Iberia gets carried by some overpowered teammate, that shiny new weapon, yeah, he can kiss it goodbye. Basically, our boy is dealing with the ultimate strict father. Sky-high expectations and absolutely zero shortcuts allowed. Plus, there is another massive hurdle. That scumbag Ragi already bought out all the heavy hitters, leaving nothing but solo players and locked-in squads. With his back against the wall, Tenma is literally his only hope. The exact same beast who just wiped the floor with Takaru and Charles. So after a ton of back and forth, our protagonist finally caves. They are officially a team. But hold up, priorities first. Ajaha needs a hospital immediately. Meanwhile, Iberia is practically vibrating with excitement, already throwing out ridiculous team names. Just absolutely yapping his head off. The guy is a solid friend, but man, somebody find his mute button. All this teamwork talk gets Tenma thinking about his old crew. Are Remu and Sia entering the qualifiers too? Cut to Remu sneezing his brains out halfway across town. Classic anime logic, he figures his best bro Tenma must be talking about him. But hearing that name, it instantly shifts Sia into worry mode. She is just praying he is staying out of trouble. And of course, Remu instantly spots the opening and teases her relentlessly for having a massive crush. Bad move. She blasts him straight in the face with a high-pressure water attack. Remu immediately starts whining about cheap shots. But Sia is not having it. In a real fight, there are no cheap shots. You leave an opening, you get hit. Simple as that. Watching this entire chaotic display from afar, their master, a literal cyborg who is absolutely determined to whip them into shape for the tournament. And they are putting in the work. Sia just hit level 11 with Remu trailing at 10. Two elementalists gearing up to clash with the best awakeners out there. Meanwhile, the vibe completely shifts. We jump back to Ragi, and oh man, he is visibly ticked off. His hound still has not reported back. Just pure frustration. He thinks everyone around him is totally useless. His agent offers to send a search party, but Ragi could not care less. The qualifiers are the only thing on his radar right now. Why? Because if he fails this year, his old man is going to completely destroy him. And get this. This absolute snake has already bribed almost 800 contestants to rig the matches, every single one of them. Level 5 or higher. At least his agent is actually competent. Feeling confident, Ragi crushes his final stat-boosting stone, absorbing the power instantly. Boom. Level 12 achieved. He is wielding lightning magic and walking around like he owns the place completely full of himself. Back to our main crew. Tenma is standing before his commander, head bowed, taking the blame for not protecting Ajaha fast enough. The northern commander does not even blink. He casually offers to erase Ragi from existence. But Tenma, he steps up and demands to handle this personal vendetta himself. Mendu respects the fire in his eyes and backs off, saving the interrogation for later. Meanwhile, Iberia is standing there, jaw literally on the floor. The terrifying northern commander chatting with Tenma like they are old friends, mind-blowing. Right then and there, Tenma officially declares he is entering the tournament. Mendu gives the green light. And thankfully, Ajaha is bouncing back fast, her spirit butterfly working its healing magic perfectly. Plus, Iberia clutching up with that super rare artifact definitely helped. In fact, it caught the commander's attention big time. Mendu instantly recognizes the kid's connection to the legendary crafter. Seeing his chance, Iberia tries to step up and represent his family pride. He strikes a pose, tries to project this insanely cool aura, and boldly declares that he is the father of Aiden. Wait, what? Yep, this total clown completely fumbled his own introduction, the silence in the room deafening, absolute secondhand embarrassment for everyone involved. Cringe moment aside, Mendu is genuinely grateful. He promises to visit Iberia's actual father after the tournament to show proper respect. But right now, the clock is ticking. The commander tells them both to hit the training grounds hard because his expectations are through the roof. The boys are fired up, practically tasting victory already. But Aja, she is quietly staring at her dad, completely stunned by how much faith he is putting in Tenma. Here is the reality check. Tenma is carrying some unbelievable dark childhood trauma. That is exactly why he slaughters monsters with zero hesitation. But that cold-blooded killer instinct, it completely melts away the second he is around people he actually cares about, and the commander knows it. That is the real reason he wants Aja close to him, so Tenma finds another reason to hold on to his humanity and protect her. Now, shifting gears for a second, remember that rogue skeleton soldier from the academy? Yeah, that was absolutely no accident. It was a highly coordinated strike. Human traitors are multiplying in the shadows and other commanders are already getting targeted. Mendu is convinced humanity is standing right on the edge of total annihilation. But Tenma, he just might be the absolute powerhouse they need to survive this nightmare. Flash forward. District 4. The energy is absolutely electric. The qualifiers are finally here. Tenma looks around completely blown away. The sheer number of contestants flooding the arena is staggering. But of course, when the Northern Commander shows up, word spreads like wildfire. The hype alone dragged over 5,000 fighters into the mix. And you know who is sweating right now, Ragi. Because suddenly his little army of bribed goons is just a tiny drop in a massive, unpredictable ocean. His agent, totally unfazed, doesn't care at all. He literally marked all his hired goons with red armbands, just to make spotting his little army ridiculously easy. Seiya and Remu, yeah, they definitely find this weird. Then Satoru Fujiwara steps up as head supervisor. Time for the rules. Here is how the battleground works. We have an outer zone and the main internal arena. Stage 1 kicks off right at the 4 outer towers. Every single fighter has to brawl their way through the chaos to reach that center ring. The second you step foot inside, your rank instantly locks into your bracelet. 5,000 fighters entered, but only the top 500 are moving forward. Seiya is visibly sweating. Over 4,000 fighters getting absolutely crushed in round 1. That is a brutal cutoff. Everyone gets exactly 2 weapons or tools. Literally anything goes here. Iberia locks eyes on Ray. That coward is literally hiding behind his paid mercenaries. He knows exactly what this jerk did. Bought off other fighters just to speedrun his way to the center zone unharmed. Tenma does not care though. Our boy marches straight up to that glasses-wearing ketchup-haired clown without flinching. Stage 1 officially begins. Examiner Fujiwara is watching the rookies closely while this knockoff Toji-looking guy insists quality always beats sheer numbers. We still do not know this guy's actual stats. But in the past, he and Jin were the absolute monsters who flattened everyone. Heen is practically begging for a wild card, someone who can step up and shock the entire stadium. True prodigies are basically myths though. So yeah, Fujiwara is keeping his expectations in the dirt. Wait, Heen suddenly remembers a crazy rumor. A rookie soloing a level 8 monster right after awakening. He quickly asks Remu for confirmation. The Northern Commander nods. It happened. Now they are wondering, is that exact same monster playing in this tournament right now? Now Fujiwara is hooked. Who is this mystery kid? He immediately starts scanning through the Academy's official roster to find him. Seiya and Remu. No, definitely not them. That only leaves Hanahanu, a wood element user sitting at an insane level 16. She looks like a total prodigy. But Remu just stays quiet, basically confirming every single guess is completely wrong. Hanu might be the highest rank, but Heen suddenly switches gears. Any level 0s hanging around in this batch. Because every single year, some poor level 0 shows up just to get absolutely obliterated. Well, speaking of level 0s, Ray is busy mocking the rookie, stepping up to him. He has no clue this is the kid who crushed his bodyguards. But when our boy pulls out Charles's crossbow, Ray's smirk completely vanishes. Tenma knows exactly what this idiot wants. Ray, oh, he is fuming. He thinks Tenma is just a low-level troll trying to get under his skin. He snaps his fingers. Time for his goons to attack. With that, Ray completely bails, sprinting straight for the inner zone, leaving Tenma entirely surrounded by a squad of fighters who massively outlevel him. Heen is watching this totally stunned. How does a level 0 survive getting jumped by level 6 and 7 veterans? Iberia is stressing out hard. 4 against 1. He is terrified they are about to get completely overrun. He is literally ready to pop his trump card to save them. Then one thug gets cocky, taunting our boy. Tenma just looks at him. Move. The thug just bursts out laughing. I mean, come on. Everyone thinks this kid is just talking big to act tough. Heen actually loves this crazy confidence though. He is fully ready to jump in and save Tenma if things go south. The guy tries to grab him again. Bam! One single devastating punch straight to the face. Tenma wasn't asking. He said move. Heen's jaw drops. Wait. Did this zero-level rookie just one-shot a guy who was leagues above him? Unbelievable. Now the rest of the squad is furious, charging up to incinerate him. Iberia is completely frozen, unable to help. They unleash a massive blast. Everyone watching assumes the exact same thing. This rookie is absolutely fried. Smoke clears. Not a single scratch on him. He blocked the whole thing, stunning the entire crowd. With every single hit he takes, his black ice defense stats are skyrocketing. A water block. They are losing their minds. Then Tenma literally taunts them to try it again. Pissed off, the guy unleashes his rank B flamethrower at max power. And our protagonist just stands right there, taking the entire blast head on. The fire user pushes so damn hard he actually burns through his entire mana pool, hitting a brutal physical backlash. He is totally convinced Tenma is finally finished. Wrong. Tenma walks out completely untouched, flexing a gauntlet made of pure black ice. Now the squad is panicking. If their ultimate attack did 0 damage, they are screwed. They start spamming him with endless fireballs, but again, not even a dent. Plan B. They try to drain his mana pool instead. Big mistake. He closes the distance instantly, pure speed blitz. A pure clash of raw strength, and he completely shatters another elite fighter right then and there. 2 lightning users left. He looks right at them with dead eyes. Do not even try running. You can't escape. But these absolute fools, they go right ahead and trigger their dual skills anyway. Hayton is literally staring in complete disbelief, watching one level 0 kid absolutely massacre an entire squad. With the dust settling, Iberia hypes up his bro because seriously, nobody believes this absolute beast is level 0. Then Iberia literally calls out the whole arena, announcing that they are about to completely dominate this tournament. Meanwhile, Ragi is casually walking lost in thought about that crossbow when bam, some random awakener gets instantly zapped. Put down like a stray dog. Ragi instantly flexes his ego, nobody crosses him, and snaps for his lackeys. He orders them to fall in line. The examiners just watch this display of pure Kinoshita family arrogance. The worst part, he's technically not breaking rules. They can't intervene while Ragi struts around convinced he's already won. But then, a voice calls his name. He turns around and guess who? It's our dynamic duo. Tenma actually survived the ambush. Ragi's mind is blown, but his ego takes over immediately, trash-talking our boy. Tenma doesn't even flinch. Ragi is too cowardly for a real fight, so he summons a massive 100-man army, just to stall for time, but Tenma is totally down, covering Iberia's ears before vanishing at absolutely impossible speeds. Boom! He slams right into Ragi, knocking him completely off balance. Payback time has officially started, and the hunter isn't letting his prey escape today. Meanwhile, Seiya and Rimu struggle but finally breach the inner circle. Taking a look at the ranks, Yui grabs third, Agami secures second, and sitting at the absolute top, Hanu dominating. She's playing in a completely different league, but get this, Iberia somehow clutches 6th place right after screaming Tenma's name. Speaking of our main guy, he's still out in the war zone, fully intending to solo farm an entire 100-man army. Even the pro examiners are completely baffled. Hayton is honestly wondering if this crazy kid is going to cook them all. To Ragi, our boy is just a disgusting little bug, an absolute eyesore that he's finally forced to deal with. 100 against 1. The odds are completely insane, but Tenma's only mission right now, getting bloody revenge for Aga. To hell with the actual tournament. The massive army of awakeners charges straight at him and our boy just smiles. Bam! He casually steps up and completely one-shots the first guy. Suddenly that whole army seriously doubts his level. Then Tenma triggers his Lotus Burst, ready to blow the battlefield straight into oblivion. Literally everyone is watching him. Even the top tiers who already finished are watching. The examiner's jaw hits the floor seeing that insane blast radius. Aga is absolutely swooning over his massive power-up. But Tenma's eyes are completely locked on the arrogant punk. Just like that 100 elite fighters wiped out in seconds, now it's just Ragi left. Tenma slowly walks toward him, and somehow, this absolute clown still thinks he can win just by screaming really loud. Ragi fires his ultimate move, the Thunder Cannon. Tenma casually runs an analysis, then buries his fist into Ragi's gut. Stomped on like a helpless bug. Panicking, Ragi literally begs his bodyguard for help, who completely breaks tournament protocol. This new guy is a legit level 35 powerhouse. Seeing this blatant invasion, Hayton immediately steps up to intervene. Our protagonist instantly senses insane killing intent, rushing toward him. Wait, it's actually multiple heavy hitters incoming. The bodyguard almost reaches Tenma, but Smash Hayton craters him into the dirt, telling our boy to finish his revenge. Tenma stares down coldly at the pathetic dog, begging for mercy. Mid-sob story, bam. He absolutely pulverizes his head. Brutal justice for Aga, his precious waifu, finally delivered. He casually pauses his systems analysis process for later. Suddenly, a super familiar voice calls out. It's Seiya and the crew waving him over to enter the safe zone. The girls are falling completely head over heels after watching that absolute massacre. And just like that, he secures 7th place. Meanwhile, Iberia and Rimu are having a hilarious standoff. Both are fighting for the title of Tenma's absolute best bro. It's pure comedy. They're just aggressively yapping, throwing insults, and masterclass rage baiting each other into absolute oblivion. The examiner officially wraps up the bloody first round. Next up, Stage 2, a brutal 1-hour straight monster survival match. Now things get seriously hyped. The top 7 absolute monsters gear up for the real challenge as they enter the arena. The tension is thick. Everyone's watching his every move, especially Seiya and Rimu, desperately trying to figure out his powers. The officials tell the remaining survivors to lock in, and this time, they're up close and personal with the elite spectators. The rules are incredibly simple. Hunt down the terrifying beasts, secure kills, and rack up massive difficulty points. But here's the catch. Every kill triggers a 1-minute forced cooldown. Hearing this, Gakui instantly decides to only target bosses. Tenma just smirks, raising his hand with one chilling question. Is the Nightmare class really the absolute hardest thing here? The crowd. They completely doubt his strength against a threat like this. But Fujiwara drops a bombshell. Nightmare-level creatures literally have no power ceiling. Every single one is built differently, so overthinking it, pointless. Plus, how they perform today directly decides their future as absolute top-tier saviors. Scoring high is everything here. Remembering Jin's insane record of 115,000, yeah, our boy fully plans to smash humanity's absolute greatest score. The doors open. Contestants enter the trial grounds and absolute chaos officially begins. These starting monsters, total trash tier. So Tenma just casually pops his ice skill, completely wiping them out to speed run the next difficulty. Hien is absolutely glued to the screen, hyped beyond belief. I mean, he just watched this kid literally vaporize a monster dog horde. 1 second. Done. That raw power, exactly why Hatton loves the guy. But Fujiwara, he's convinced this upcoming level 8 monster will actually make Tenma sweat a bit. Look, anyone normal would get crushed at this tier, but Menohi actively tries to distract the examiners from obsessing over his star student. So he smoothly shifts the subject. How are the other rookies doing? Honestly, pretty solid. The only one even remotely keeping pace with Tenma Hanu. Back to Tenma's fight. Bro literally tanks the flames head-on, stepping out without a single scratch. Boom, one single devastating slash. He literally one-shots the beast in 5 seconds flat, easily bagging another 500 points. Hien is so confused, why not just end it instantly? Here's the crazy part. Tenma is deliberately tanking hits just to grind his defense stats. Next up, an Electro Rhino. This bad boy is way tougher, dropping a massive 1,000 points. Take one hit, and you're instantly paralyzed. Fighting this thing normally requires lightning-fast reflexes to survive. But Tenma, he just casually strolls up, totally fascinated by its horn. The Rhino violently blasts him away, yet he literally feels zero pain. Bro is just putting on a show. By taking that massive hit, his defense stats get another sweet upgrade. Playtime is officially over. Tenma violently lunges forward, absolutely destroying the creature in just 7 seconds flat. Fujiwara builds up the hype for the next spawn. This thing, way more terrifying, packing completely broken attack and defense stats. We're talking about the absolute most savage disaster beast in the entire preliminaries. Enter the Nightmare class, Purgatory Giant. All that hype, completely wasted. Tenma literally one-shots it using his piercing orb, striking a totally relaxed pose right after. Bored of these weak toys, he casually looks up. Bring me the next Nightmare class monster, he demands. Meanwhile, Saya Hisagi channels her raw power, brutally skewering a monster through the mouth to wipe out the final 2 targets. Her goal, reaching the normal class tier. She braces herself as her system pings. She's incredibly close to dominating the beginner bracket. Somewhere else entirely, Gaku is sitting there, super smug, completely convinced he'll reach normal class first. And Hanu, he wisely takes a quick mana recovery break. But then an absolutely deafening system announcement shakes the arena. Alert. The Nightmare class has just been cleared in record-breaking time by rank 21. That message literally freezes everyone. Seiya's eyes go wide. She instantly knows this insane feat had to be Tenma. Back in the observation room, the 4 examiners are absolutely speechless. A level 15 Purgatory Giant, and he just instantly deleted it. Desperately curious to test his limits, what do? Crank that difficulty slider all the way up. But as our boy checks his glowing stat screen, pure disappointment. He seriously expected some crazy, earth-shattering reward. Instead, just some extra points. Completely annoyed, he simply decides to wipe out another monster entirely. One single strike. He drives his black sphere right through the beast, bringing it down in a flash. The examiners are left sweating. What kind of broken magic is that sphere? Does it even have limits? Hien narrows his eyes, analyzing the data. The power scaling is absolutely maxed out on strength, but wait, there's one fatal flaw. Meanwhile, our protagonist steps up to a beast, boasting absolutely terrifying speed, way faster than anything he's faced yet. Hien quickly breaks it down. People see a massive purgatory giant and think they're clunky. Big mistake. They are horrifyingly fast. Here's the lore drop. This species has literally 0 mana. To survive, evolution cranked their physical stats through the absolute roof instead. Swish dodged. Swish, missed again. The beast's overwhelming agility lets it completely weave through every single shot our boy throws. And boom, the fatal flaw reveals itself. Those black spheres, absolutely devastating impact damage, but their actual travel speed, way too slow for high-tier monsters. But Tenma, his battle IQ is insane. Hien watches as he baits the giant's natural roaring habit using that exact split-second opening to launch a strike. Despite that genius move, Hien reaches a grim conclusion. If our boy can't drastically speed up those spheres, his tower climb officially ends here. Back in the pit, the battle drags on, and our absolute unit actually starts to struggle. Watching the giant effortlessly sidestep those mid-range attacks, Fujiwara actually starts sweating bullets. Not looking good. His concern: if our boy keeps spamming that slow black sphere without a backup plan, he is completely finished. Meaning he's completely out of tricks. But then Tenma just flashes this absolute psycho smile. He finally cracked the pattern. Instead of chasing this beast, he'll intercept it. No hesitation, they both charge straight at each other for a massive clash. The beast throws a colossal punch, slamming right where our boy stood. The sheer impact absolutely shatters the arena floor. Panic mode activated. The staff immediately calls for rescue because a direct hit from that electric rhino instant death. But wait. The dust clears. He's not there. Even the monster freezes up, totally confused, looking around for its prey. Boom. Right behind it. Our boy slams his black sphere attack, literally blowing the monster's face off. 12 seconds. That's all it took. Agaha is just standing there completely stunned that Tenma totally destroyed that massive beast. Izumi and Fujiwara glance over, catching that deeply worried look on her face. For her super rare sight, she immediately panics, waving her hands and making up some excuse about just praying for everybody's general safety. Yeah, totally. She claims she'd react like that for anyone. But all her frantic over-explaining just makes the guys think she's acting incredibly weird today. Meanwhile, the old geezer looks over at Haiten, totally confused why Tenma kept dodging instead of taking the hit head-on. Haiten lays it out. Our protagonist's speed actually completely matches those terrifying purgatory giants. But when that electricity channels through his veins, his speed absolutely skyrockets. With that buff, those giants can't even touch him. The old geezer laughs out loud, declaring our boy absolutely deserves that #1 rank. But get this, our guy isn't stopping. He's gunning for the absolute peak, aiming straight to surpass the strongest human Jin Taewa. Taking a breather now, that's just wasted time. Without blinking, he charges right into the next wave of purgatory beasts. The old guy remembers his own glory days, bragging about hitting Phase 4 in one single crazy run. Haiten shuts that down fast, he only barely reached it. Still, they both admit even Haiten hit his absolute wall at Phase 3. Keeping that difficulty in mind, they watch in awe as our boy just keeps fighting relentlessly. Tenma quickly cooks up a genius strategy for the second beast, and execution absolutely flawless. But monster number 3, totally different vibe. This crazy guy literally lets the massive beast swallow him whole, just so he can shred it to pieces from the inside out. 3 purgatory giants wiped in 13 flat seconds. Fujiwara's jaw is on the floor, watching him easily counter skills that literally eliminated half the participants earlier. His mana is running dangerously low, but here's the hack: as disaster beasts spawn, his mana sense passive slowly regenerates his energy tank. Then it happens. Nightmare class Phase 4 drops. 4 massive purgatory giants instantly surround our hero. His passive kicks in, restoring his mana to 40%. If he survives this phase, he officially crushes Haiten's old record. Only the legendary Jin Taewa has ever survived this. Naturally, Haiten is on the edge of his seat, dying to see this kid's actual limit. Here's the trick. Every time his piercing, the true sphere speeds up, its deadly accuracy scales perfectly too. So if Tenma redlines the speed just a bit more, he can easily snipe these monsters without stepping into the danger zone. But there's a catch. With his mana pool looking this rough, every single strike needs to be a guaranteed one-hit kill. Out of nowhere, the giant whips out heavy chains from all directions, completely locking our hero down. The beast smashes the earth, scooping our boy up in its massive grip. Complete disaster. He has absolutely zero leverage to escape. And it gets so much worse. The giant literally crushes his bones brutally, tossing his broken body right back onto the arena dirt. Seeing him totally crushed and bleeding out, Fujiwara instantly panics, loudly begging Haiten to step in. Haiten just stares in shock. Is this really it? Has the kid finally hit his absolute ceiling just like he once did? He finally moves to rescue him, but Izumi firmly grabs his shoulder. Wait, he says. Tenma's not done fighting just yet. Everyone goes crazy, screaming at Izumi that this isn't some test of willpower anymore. If they don't pull him out right now, he's dead. But Izumi refuses to budge. He strongly believes our guy holds a trump card, leaving Fujiwara totally baffled. Izumi just points it out. Look closely at his eyes. That intense glare, that's not the look of a man accepting his death. Our boy stands back up before the giant. After everything he's suffered, dying here simply isn't happening. Flashback to his fight with Reiji Kinoshita. His Over Mimesis skill triggered, but he deliberately paused the analysis right before it finished. Why? For a desperate life-or-death moment exactly like this, he resumes the system analysis, and boom, it completes instantly. Suddenly, Ajaha's eyes light up as a glowing blue lotus appears. Fujiwara is completely confused. How does a flower help right now? Haiden looks puzzled by Ajaha's sudden hype, but right then, our hero's Thunderwave skill violently activates. The effect, it absorbs any B-rank lightning straight into his body. He unloads that stored energy, doubling his speed, fully restoring his health, and confidently calling it quits. Done playing around. Fujihara's jaw drops as our boy suddenly regenerates way faster than any top-tier healer. Taking that much damage, he just can't wrap his head around how many insane skills this fighter actually possesses. Flash of movement, Tenma just shreds right through those purgatory giants, beating phase 4 in a crazy 31 seconds. Our guy is completely unfazed. Bring on the horde, he's not losing. Suddenly an ambush from above, but without even looking, he blasts the giant, dropping it dead in a single heartbeat. And here's the crazy part, his flight speed skyrockets by 2,700% as he slaughters them. He absolutely speedruns phase 5 in under a minute, then completely wipes out phase 6 in 90 seconds. Total silence in the arena. Watching Tenma effortlessly bully these legendary giants, the audience is absolutely stunned. Honestly, they're starting to wonder if our guy is the actual raid boss here. Our main character literally sits down waiting for the next wave, but nothing spawns. Fujihara, completely shell-shocked, grabs the mic. He has to awkwardly announce that Tenma just killed every single giant they owned. Honestly, our boy is genuinely confused. He wiped out the entire stock because he had no clue a difficulty cap existed. He actually lost track of his massive body count. Now, since our protagonist physically cannot level up all that massive disaster beast experience, literally converts into solid karma stones instead. Seeing a rare karma stone drop in a simple testing arena leaves Fujihara totally speechless. Not just any stone either. That blue glow, it means it holds a massive 10,000 experience points. Izumi breaks it down. Since our guy's body rejects normal experience, the system forcefully converts it all into hard loot. Our hero casually steps out of the gate. Fujihara immediately starts hyping up his insane potential, begging Tenma to join his elite squad and promising him a top-tier mentor. But our guy respectfully shoots the offer down. Why, he already has a master. The old man pushes back hard, saying some random nobody teacher couldn't possibly handle an absolute genius like him. He insists you need massive guild resources to grow. That's when Nento steps in, warning the recruiter to back off before this insane rookie starts hating his guts. Desperate Fujihara begs Nento to talk some sense into the kid. Letting a nobody ruin this godly talent would be a crime. But then, our boy respectfully thanks Nento, and the recruiter's face absolutely drops when Nento casually replies any time for his own student, jaw hitting the floor. The top-tier legend is his master. Suddenly his broken power level makes complete sense. Izumi quickly looks his crazy student over for any hidden damage, but seeing how eager the kid was for phase 7, yeah, totally unharmed. Our boy admits he's completely out of gas stamina, drained to 0, but promises a quick breather is all he needs to bounce back to 100%. Everything about this monster finally clicked for Fujihara. Oh, and Izumi's other disciples, they completely steamrolled the second stage too. Our guy wonders if Tawajin hit phase 6, but his master laughs back in the day the absolute maximum test capped at 4. Because 4 felt easy. They actually cranked the difficulty up this year. After explaining that Izumi brings his overpowered student over to watch the rest of the poor participants tackle stage 2, cut to Remu. After surviving the heavy hits of hard class, she's completely exhausted. Seeing the brutal nightmare level, she just completely taps out. Sia went all out, literally drowning the monsters in a massive high-pressure water sphere technique. But with her mana tank running on fumes, even she realizes the next tier is pure suicide and quits. Seeing them drop out shocks our boy. He actually expected them to keep going, but Fujihara snaps him back to reality. Normal people usually fail the basic tier. Plus, obliterating that electric rhino so fast practically guarantees both girls a spot in the top 10 rankings. Here's the catch, though they can't actually leave yet. The arena rules strictly lock you inside unless you've taken critical damage. Meanwhile, the real heavy hitters push forward, stepping right into the brutal nightmare class. Nento smiles, completely sure that Gaku's ultra-rare artifact will let him destroy at least one of those terrifying purgatory giants. Then there's Shion Akagami. For a familiar summoner, surviving this long is insane. But plot twist, she literally transforms into a massive beast herself and just absolutely socks the giant. This totally blows our protagonist's mind, a transforming familiar. He instantly starts wondering if that jade butterfly can pull off something similar. But Akagami shuts that down. Nope, she can't do it. In fact, she's never seen a transformation before either. These spirit summons are totally unpredictable wildcard elements. She warns our boy straight up, if you fight a Shikigami user, stay highly on guard. Realizing how incredibly overpowered familiars can actually get our guy makes a choice. All future XP drops, going straight to that shadowy dog he stole from Charles. With Sia and Remu officially eliminated, Tenma decides hanging around is pointless and turns to bounce. But wait, Iberia steps up and the armor he's rocking absolutely stuns our guy. We're talking epic tier dragon gear, the most broken heirloom left by Iberia's father. Oh, and this artifact, it's literally sentient and picks its own master. Iberia survived pure torture to earn this gear's respect. And the craziest buff, his stats passively skyrocket every single minute. But there's a massive catch. Wear it past the 15-minute mark and a brutal penalty kicks in. He absolutely has to finish this fast. Facing off against these purgatory giants, Ibra smiles. He already knows that nightmare clearance announcement, definitely Tenma. He refuses to hold his best friend back. They are double one and they rise to the top together. Ibra leaps. One devastating strike shatters the giant's armor completely, and just like that, stage 2 is over. Now for the rules. Fujihara drops the news only the top 10 scorers advance to the national main event. And the top 2, they get special rewards. Gaku smirks, feeling completely unstoppable, convinced only Hanyu could possibly beat him for that epic prize. But when Fujihara finally pulls up the leaderboard, absolute silence. Jaws drop everywhere. Our boy casually scored over 100,000 points. Even Gintoa only managed 60,000. Complete domination. First place nationally is basically guaranteed now. Keep in mind these massive purgatory giants, only worth 5,000 points per kill. Remu is absolutely speechless, wondering how many giants Tenma slaughtered. Meanwhile, Ghana completely furious about landing in third. Getting beaten by a complete nobody stings. As for Seiya, seeing this massive power gap leaves her feeling utterly defeated. She seriously doubts if she even belongs on a battlefield. Right on cue, Fujihara declares the provincial qualifiers officially closed. Tenma sits comfortably at the top, leading by a massive 65,000 point gap. Looking at the screen, Ibra knows his dad is cheering somewhere. He is incredibly hyped for Tenma's total victory, but honestly, he is pretty proud of himself for upholding the double one legacy. The 21st National Tournament qualifiers wrap up, and our hero literally carries his exhausted bro out after that brutal war. Meanwhile, down in South Continent's District 1, a random fighter is super annoyed about waking up early just to watch an old man meditate. His buddy quickly shuts him up. That old guy, the legendary South Continent commander, and yeah, he can literally see the future. Still, the impatient fighter has a point. Why do they only get warnings after the defense barriers go up? If Bargar is really this all-seeing oracle, shouldn't he know exactly where the monster monoliths are going to crash? Here is the catch. Bargar's visions only show a tiny window of time, but he stands beside heavyweights like Ayumi. For one reason, his predictions never miss. Ever. Suddenly, Bargar collapses in absolute panic. His followers rush over as he screams about an impending disaster in the north. A massive monster invasion is coming, and wait for it. One of these disaster beasts is confirmed to be over level 100. Back to Tenma, his stats just smashed past 1,500 points. Normally, leveling up only grants 50 points. So those 1,500 points, that puts our overpowered hero at the stats of a level 30 Awakener. Thanks to his broken passive skills, his agility, defense, and mana recovery are basically infinite at this point. But attack power, that is his only bottleneck right now. He seriously needs to find a way to hit harder. Before he can overthink it, his squad calls him down for dinner, so the stat grinding goes on pause. He will definitely hunt for an attack-boosting skill later. But pulling up to the dinner table, he notices Ibra is completely missing. Ayumi explains that she healed his battle wounds, but the guy drained his stamina completely, so he is still knocked out cold. Honestly, Remu is mind-blown that Ibra actually cleared the nightmare stage that completely wrecked him and Seiya. Suddenly, Seiya flinches, pointing a shaking finger behind them. A massive, terrifying shadow looms over Remu's shoulder. It is just Ibra diving at the food like a starving animal. Remu yells at him for the cheap jump scare. Ibra slams his plate down. Remu braces for a fight, but the big guy just lets out a happy sigh over the insanely good food. Finding out Remu cooked this masterpiece, Ibra deadpan tells him to drop the hero act and open a restaurant immediately. Because honestly, his cooking stats are way higher. Right then, Ayumi cuts into the banter with a heavy question. What is everyone's biggest fear? Remu actually takes this seriously. His ultimate dream. Make insane money as a top-tier savior, then travel the whole world eating nothing but premium 5-star gourmet food. So his biggest fear, getting old. He is terrified of losing the stamina to backpack around the globe. Worse yet, he is scared his taste buds will fade and he won't appreciate those exotic flavors. Seiya's turn. Born into a medical family, she basically lived in hospitals. Growing up, surrounded by suffering patients, left some serious mental scars. It traumatized her so badly that even a simple sneeze from someone sends her into a total panic attack. Suddenly, it clicks. That is exactly why she ran away when our hero sneezed yesterday. Ayumi gently reminds them that awakeners live twice as long and literally never get sick, so they can stop worrying about aging or catching colds. Ibra's biggest fear used to be failing the qualifiers. Now it is the terrifying thought of being too weak to fight beside Tenma. He immediately turns the spotlight onto Tenma. The group assumes their overpowered monster of a friend literally fears absolutely nothing. But our hero gets real. After his parents died, surviving every single day was absolutely terrifying. He was drowning in pure rage, helplessness, and crushing grief. Right until Seiya and Rimu finally pulled him from the dark, tears falling. But then, they walked right up, gently nudging him to just look up at that gorgeous, expansive sky. No more looking down. Sick, they offered a hospital run. Hungry, they brought enough food to literally make every worry vanish. That genuine warmth, it completely pulled him from the darkness. And right after that pivotal moment, Sensei, Aegea, and Iberia appeared. Suddenly he had a real family. Our guy actually admits it has been way too long since he felt this kind of peace. He honestly prayed this feeling would never end. Because deep down, the thought of being completely alone again terrified him. Seeing our boy this gentle and relaxed hits Aegea right in the feels. Such a crazy contrast from his usual chilling aura. Out of nowhere, Iberia completely tackles him with a hug, swearing she is never leaving. Then Izumi finally explains his earlier question. It was a test. He needed to see if they would regret their choices when walking the path of a savior into absolute peril. Because heroes cannot afford second thoughts. He makes it crystal clear, facing the end without a single regret is the ultimate goal. Time to rest up. Especially since Kisaragi and Harino are heading straight back to the Northern District first thing tomorrow morning. Morning arrives with heavy goodbyes. Iberia even begs Remu to cook up that amazing homemade meal for them sometime down the road. Watching Remu literally bawl his eyes out, our protagonist wonders when those two got so tight. Oh, and he remembers something for Seiya. He figures the main tournament is the perfect time to ask her. But suddenly, Aegea comes sprinting in with highly classified intel for Izumi, fresh from the south. She warns Izumi instantly the security clearance on this intel is absolutely off the charts. We are talking level 50 saviors, or continent commanders only. But Izumi waves it off, telling Aegea to just drop the bombshell. Why? Because he totally trusts our guy and his crew. So Aegea spills it, a terrifying prophecy from Elder Bargar. An absolutely massive wave of disaster beasts is going to strike the north, all within the next 3 days. Tenma immediately questions if this vision is legit. His buddy steps in. Bargar is literally the most legendary prophet across 5 continents. His predictions, basically absolute confirmed futures. Panicking, Aegea begs Izumi to evacuate the north immediately. But Izumi sees the bigger picture. Monsters do not just launch organized invasions for nothing, and he is pretty sure he is the target. He actually wants to stay behind as live bait. Aegea shuts that down, reminding him combat is not his strong suit. Playing hero is way too risky. She practically orders him to fall back to the central continent immediately. Our guy sides with Aegea, offering to hold the line, but Izumi, absolutely stubborn, he refuses to back down. Instead, he gives Tenma a completely different mission. Our hero immediately pushes back. Keeping his master alive should be the top priority. But Izumi drops facts. The father of Iberia, Aiden, he is literally the most legendary blacksmith across all 5 regions. Losing a guy like that would be a complete disaster, so Izumi orders his top student to escort Iberia, guard her dad, and sends extra awakened backup. Watching Izumi split their forces just to babysit a crafter, Tenma suspects he is just keeping him off the battlefield. Switching into commander mode, Izumi hands Aegea 3 crucial tasks. First, broadcast a massive evacuation warning to every single northern resident. Second, mobilize any awakener under level 50 strictly for civilian rescue operations. And the next order, alert all the level 50 heavy hitters. Get those elite fighters ready to intercept the beasts instantly. Finally, he orders Heen to join him up north. It is incredibly sparse up there. A perfect battleground since they will not worry about catching civilians in the crossfire. Because he plans to crash into this beast wave head first. Soon after, Aegea reports back that all setups are done, and backup is arriving soon. But as Izumi waves her off, he catches a tiny flicker of hesitation in her eyes. It literally takes him 2 seconds to read her mind. She is dying to know why he shipped Tenma off to guard that blacksmith. She simply cannot hide her curiosity. And honestly, seeing no reason to dodge it, Izumi decides to explain his tactics. He tells her straight up they are bracing for those exact apocalyptic disaster beasts from the prophecy. We are talking boss-tier monsters easily breaking level 100. If Tenma encountered those, he would be forced to fight seriously, and by doing that, he would accidentally expose every single skill he possesses. Hearing this, Aegea instantly argues back. That logic is incredibly flawed. Flexing all of his ultimate skills right now just gives the monster horde a front-row seat to his playbook, giving them time to prep counters and eventually kill him. Her dad then shares another massive observation about our guy. Despite his insane versatility, his raw damage is noticeably lacking, but a major rumor is floating around the elite tiers. Aiden actually guards a legendary artifact that massively skyrockets raw offensive power. If Tenma manages to secure that specific gear, boom, he instantly transforms into an absolute god-tier awakener with 0 blind spots. It perfectly fills the one weakness holding him back. Fast forward to 8 p.m. day 1 of the prophecy. Absolute chaos. Massive, terrifying monoliths suddenly begin raining down all across the northern territories. And it begins. The assault is officially a go. Over in North District 2, Tenma and Iberia are tearing through the streets. Their target Iberia's dad, but they know what's coming. A disaster beast could ambush them at any given second. Then bam, a massive monolith drops straight from the sky. The realization hits them hard. The invasion didn't just start, it slammed right into the city. Tenma's mind is racing. Did everyone actually manage to evacuate in time? If a disaster beast drops in right now, total bloodbath. Casualties would be absolutely massive. Pure panic hits the streets. Civilians are scrambling, running for their absolute lives exactly like the Elder Barger said they would. Tenma eyes the massive barrier locking down the zone. And suddenly he's caught in a brutal, impossible dilemma. Play the hero and save the civilians from certain slaughter, or stay entirely laser-focused on their actual mission. He knows saving people will seriously drag them down. It's a massive risk. Honestly, he just can't bring himself to ask Iberia to ditch the mission for a rescue op. Since Iberia is terrified for his dad, the guy is running on absolute fumes but hasn't asked for a single breather. But get this, before Tenma speaks, Iberia completely surprises him. Let's save the civilians first. Change of plans right then and there. They're going to hunt down every disaster beast in this city before moving on. Things are already bad. A level 21 flame golem has already touched down inside. A squad of heroes is desperately fighting it, but their power levels, pathetic compared to this absolute monster. It's basically a total suicide mission. They look at the sheer destruction. Reality sets in, they can't win this, so one by one they completely fold and run for their lives. Almost everyone. One bold water elementalist actually steps up charging straight at this towering nightmare. The guy is absolutely terrified, like shaking in his boots, nearly wetting himself level of scared, but he absolutely refuses to back down. Against all odds, he goes absolutely all out and drops the monster once. But nope, the flame golem instantly revives. It lets out an ear-shattering roar and blasts out a massive, devastating wave of pure fire. Time freezes. Everyone has the exact same horrifying thought they are about to get roasted alive, extra crispy. Right when they think it's over, boom, Tenma drops in out of nowhere, blocking the inferno effortlessly. He immediately barks orders at Iberia, get the civilians out of here. Meanwhile, he takes the beast solo. The crowd is absolutely dumbfounded by the massive ice wall protecting them. They're frantically asking Iberia, "Are you guys our saviors?" Iberia shuts that down though. He totally brags that one day he's gonna surpass the legendary Jin Tewa. The traumatized civilians just snap at him. They literally call the kid a brat, completely ignoring the fact he just saved them. But then all eyes shift to our main guy. Tenma is standing there dripping with swagger encased in frost armor. For a split second, they seriously wonder if the kid's entire body is an overpowered artifact. Quick flashback. Izumi had actually warned Tenma about his ultimate Black Sphere attack. Sure, the power is god tier, but the casting time, way too slow. Against a top-tier disaster beast, the projectile speed is practically crawling. Not exactly reliable in battle. Whiff that first shot and you're cooked. The enemy goes on high alert, making a follow-up strike pretty much impossible to land. So Izumi gave him a strict rule, keep it locked away. Only pull out that trump card when there's absolutely zero other options. Like only when he is 100% certain it's a guaranteed one-hit obliteration. Back to the fight, Tenma knows dropping that dark nuke right in front of a massive crowd that's just begging for unwanted spotlight. Especially since people are already whispering trying to figure out if he's a high-level awakener. So plan B, just use pure unadulterated brute force. He triggers his thunder wave, launches into the sky, and drops a devastating kick to the monster's skull. The beast smashes face first into the concrete, the crowd left completely speechless. A literal teenager is utterly bodying a disaster beast. Some of the onlookers actually convince themselves the flame golem must have been severely weakened beforehand. But the people up close, they know the terrifying truth. They just watched a level 21 boss monster completely fail to even graze this kid. It makes absolutely no sense, leaving everyone wondering who Tenma really is. But before they can ask, the monster drops and our boys instantly ghost the scene. The remaining heroes are just left standing there, frozen, their brains straight up short-circuiting after witnessing such an insane flex of raw power. Dashing alongside Iberia, Tenma is already analyzing the clash. He couldn't one-shot a mid-tier disaster beast, and honestly, that is a massively bad sign for the future. If monsters like this are just the opening act, the main event is going to be a nightmare. One thing is crystal clear right now. He needs a serious power-up, whatever it takes. Iberia is hyping up Tenma's crazy speed, but our guy knows the harsh reality: speed means absolutely nothing without power. Iberia catches on pretty quick. He flashes a grin and tells Tenma there's actually a shortcut to boost his attack power. He excitedly tells Tenma that his old man's warehouse is absolutely loaded with epic artifacts, right? There absolutely has to be one for raw attack power. Since our boy is Izumi's student, his dad will definitely hand one over. Iberia is literally drooling right now, picturing his buddy decked out in legendary gear, so he drags Tenma toward his house for the loot. Meanwhile, our main character honestly thought he was jogging, but nope. Seeing Iberia gasping for air despite his agility stats, yeah, the guy is seriously struggling to keep pace. Can't have him exhausted before fighting the disaster beast, right? So Tenma just scoops him up and kicks it into high gear. Iberia is absolutely screaming for his life, but Tenma just tells him to suck it up. They've already wasted way too much time. A few terrifyingly fast minutes later, Iberia breathes a massive sigh of relief. He actually survived. Tenma looks around. Why the heck does this crafter live in a deadly forest instead of a safe town? Turns out, the old man needs absolute silence for crafting. But get this, Iberia warns Tenma not to take the base defenses lightly. The place is an absolute minefield of traps. Suddenly, those faint mana traces Tenma was feeling make complete sense. Just stick to the path, Iberia says confidently. Honestly though, with his insane mana sense, Tenma knows he could easily dodge every single trap anyway. But Iberia gets way too cocky. Click. Oh no. He stepped on one, and immediately panics, because it's literally the worst trap in the forest. The mana spikes heavily. Boom. A massive epic iron golem drops right in front of them. Humanoid defensive artifacts. Tenma is genuinely impressed. Without warning, the golem winds up a crushing blow aimed straight at Iberia. Smash. Tenma steps in and blocks the heavy punch perfectly. Feeling that impact, he instantly realizes this machine's base power completely outclasses his own. He could obliterate it with his piercing true sphere technique, sure, but he can't. It belongs to his buddy's dad. He shouts, asking how to shut this metal beast down. Iberia yells back in panic, "Go straight for the karma stone lodged inside its chest." That's the core. Tenma instantly triggers his Thunderwave skill. He might lack the raw attack power, but speed he completely dominates. He scales the massive arm like a blur and completely snatches the core. Then, Iberia suddenly screams a name. "Juki, stop." Tenma spins around, completely caught off guard. There's a guy midair, swinging a lethal blade right at him. Juki backs off, saying he thought they were intruders. But Tenma is shocked. How did this guy approach without leaking any mana? Even crazier, his sword just literally vanishes into thin air. Iberia steps up to introduce Tenma, trying to explain the whole chaotic situation. But our boy cuts to the chase. "We need to see the crafter." Juki points toward the back of the workshop. "Watch out though, the old man is extremely grumpy today." Inside, Iberia immediately brags to his dad about passing the tournament qualifiers. Not just passing, but clearing Nightmare class and hitting 4th in the whole region. Time to cash in on that promised custom artifact, right? Wrong. Instead of epic gear, Iberia catches a brutal slap to the face. His dad demands the stolen dragon gear back immediately. Iberia whines that he was only borrowing it. But the old man is furious, calling his son incredibly reckless. Why? Because wearing dragon gear too long causes permanent, catastrophic damage. Iberia storms out in pure rage, leaving his dad facing Tenma. He instantly recognizes the kid as Izumi's disciple. Tenma bows properly, explaining he was officially dispatched as the Master Crafter's bodyguard, all thanks to that terrifying prophecy about an impending disaster beast swarm. The old man hesitates. Izumi is notoriously strict. Taking on a student is super rare, so why the hell did he pick someone who looks completely average like Tenma? Wait a second. The old crafter's eyes literally bulge out of his head. He senses something impossible. This kid's level. It's permanently locked. He accuses Tenma of hiding his real stats with a cloaking item. But our boy just shakes his head. Nope, these are his genuine stats. And suddenly, everything clicks. Now he knows exactly why Izumi wanted that specific gear. Your master is terrifyingly calculating with his investments, he chuckles. He never works without a massive payoff. Tenma is clueless though. He thought this was just a standard guard mission without any bonus reward. Aiden reveals the truth. Izumi basically blackmailed him, demanding a highly specific artifact in exchange for his top student's protection. Honestly, Tenma was ready to fight for free, but the old crafter smiles. He's actually more than happy to hand this item over. The weird part, it's literally a piece of trash. A totally failed prototype originally designed to push an Awakener's raw attack power to the absolute limit. But during forging, it cracked. The rank completely vanished into unknown territory, and it developed a ridiculously bad cursed effect that ruined everything. Here's the curse. Every single time the user levels up, their critical hit rate drops back to 0. Basically, utterly worthless for any normal fighter. Aiden was baffled when Izumi asked for it, but staring at Tenma's locked level right now, it's actually a stroke of absolute genius. This kid is an absolute anomaly. Aiden has no idea how he actually grows stronger, but since Tenma literally cannot level up, this failed weapon becomes an absolute god-tier masterpiece. Grinding beast kills will safely stack that critical rate straight to 100%, and eventually, every single strike he lands will hit 10 times harder. Game over. So our boy finally equips that broken critical crystal. Here's the catch though, his crit rate only spikes if he takes down enemies hitting harder than he does. Not exactly easy. So survival first, countermeasures second. Meanwhile, Aiden finishes crafting the perfect artifact for Tenma. Tenma tries to thank the old guy, but Aiden, he completely waves it off. Says he forged it during the fight anyway, so keep the gratitude. He tells our protagonist to just kick back and rest. I mean, disaster beasts wouldn't randomly attack the middle of nowhere unless they already tracked his location. Wrong. Boom. Something massive crashes down. They look up. A giant green barrier is literally sealing off the sky. Now this is bad. Only the absolute top brass of the 5 continents knew Aiden was hiding here. So a monument stone dropping right on them. Definitely not a coincidence. Jose yells for everyone to step back, but Tenma is locked in. The beasts are already here. He can feel it. Something is rushing straight at them and moving incredibly fast. The beasts rush in. One swipes its razor-sharp claws at Tenma, but our boy just grabs it and slices clean through. Zero hesitation. Trash mobs like this, he could wipe out thousands of them easily with one Lotus explosion. He's pretty sure Jose could tank the blast radius too. But Aiden and Iberia are still hiding in that little hut right behind them. Dropping a massive area attack right now would definitely catch them in the crossfire, so he just slices through the front line and steps back. But then wait. A totally different wave of magic hits him. Massive power. While more monsters swarm his position, let's look behind the scenes. The Demon King Yamaraja is giving a status report to his absolute boss. The first wave of low-level slaves just dropped into the human world. He asks the Demon Lord the big question. Which of the 8 Demon Kings gets to lead the main invasion force? But the Lord has a totally different priority. During his last visit, his surveillance eye spotted someone extremely important. He wants this target captured alive. Yamaraja naturally assumes one of the Demon Kings will handle this bounty hunt. Nope. Sending a Demon King would actually shatter the magical eye he left behind. So a Demon General gets the job instead. As for leading the main army, that honor goes to the ape-eating demon. Why? Because the guy is absolutely starving for fresh human meat. Back to the action, Tenma suddenly hears Iberia screaming. Did a monster actually slip past them into the room? You bet it did. A level 24 Horned Guardian just crashed the party inside looking for absolute blood. Tenma's eyes go cold. Playtime is over. Time to finally pull out that secret skill he's been saving in his back pocket. He takes a hit and realizes this thing actually packs a punch. Which is perfect. The harder they hit, the faster his crit rate spikes. System check. That broken crystal absolutely skyrockets his critical chance. The only catch is that his stats completely reset every single time he levels up. So right now, he is ready to farm some serious stats. Plan locked in. He fires off his clear orb to test the new skill. Boom, a massive beam of purple energy drills straight through the monster. One-shot deletion. And just like that, crit rate hits 1%. Flawless. He shouts for Jose to hold the outside while he handles indoor pest control. Then he moves like lightning toward the cabin to prevent his buddy from getting spawn killed. Inside the hut, it's looking really bad. Iberia is completely pinned to the floor by the horned demon, helpless without his dragon gear. He almost accepts defeat. Suddenly, clang, his dad drops in blocking the fatal attack with a giant hammer. Iberia is completely stunned. He spent his whole life thinking his old man was just some regular blacksmith. But Aiden doesn't even flinch. The beast roars, charging straight at the old guy to finish the job. But Flash Tenma teleports in, caving the monster's chest in with raw power. Target destroyed. Our boy smirks, apologizing for the laggy entrance. The old man just nods and asks for a sit rep on the outside situation. Tenma scans the area. All hostile magic signatures, completely silent. Jose must have wiped the board clean. They step outside to check. And holy hell, it's a total massacre. Complete carnage. Iberia is genuinely shaken, realizing how much of an absolute powerhouse Jose really is. Jose is hyped, totally ready to solo whatever beasts are left in the barrier, but Tenma immediately hits the brakes on that idea. He orders him to stay put and play bodyguard for Aiden and Iberia. Right then, Aiden looks into Tenma's eyes. There's zero fear. In fact, he is absolutely starving for a fight. Seeing that crazy raw excitement, Aiden decides to trust him to solo the barrier. Jose is sweating a bit, though a green barrier means monsters up to level 26. But Tenma, not a single second of hesitation. He shoots off toward the danger zone like a literal lightning bolt. Hyped up Iberia tries to follow. He asks Jose to watch his dad so he can back up Tenma, but Aiden shuts that down fast, telling his son to stop being delusional. He looks him dead in the eye. They live in a completely different world compared to Tenma. Iberia pushes back. He desperately tries arguing about teamwork and having each other's backs. But Aiden, he delivers absolutely brutal honesty. Calls him total dead weight, basically saying he'd just be a massive liability out there. That absolutely crushes Iberia. Getting called dead weight by your own dad, that hits different. Aiden lays it out straight. Normal teamwork rules just don't apply to a monster like him. Then he drops a heavy question. Has Iberia ever really looked into that kid's eyes mid-battle? Silence. Iberia has zero comeback. The realization hits him. The power gap between them is absolutely massive. Meanwhile, at the barrier, the system detects 5 enemies and boom, his mana instantly recharges by a massive 50%. Completely surrounded. Does he panic? Not even a little. He coldly tells these monsters to back off before he absolutely destroys them. He unleashes a Lotus Burst. The explosion is absolutely nuclear, instantly wiping out all 5 mobs at once, and his critical rate casually jumps to 2%. Miles away, Iberia and Jose spot the entire forest lighting up. Their bodies instantly go completely rigid. Jose finally gets it. This guy's slow leveling isn't weakness. He's absolutely hiding some kind of insane, broken, overpowered system ability. Back inside that green dome, the atmosphere instantly changes. He can feel it. These beasts are on another level entirely. His magical radar starts glitching out. This barrier is literally jamming him. But wait, he remembers his mentor's color-coded threat guide. Green barriers mean level 26 to 50 mobs. To an average guy, terrifying. To him, looks like an absolute buffet of free experience points. Check this out. He summons his new shadow pet, a B-rank level 16 Deathhound, and gives the very good boy a quick head pat. He casually promises the wolf every single drop of experience from this dungeon. Then he confidently struts right into the danger zone. Game face on. These monsters are strictly prey now. Meanwhile, over at a wealthy private estate, the tension is getting insanely thick tonight. A girl updates her father. The awakened backup squad finally arrived, bringing along a heavy hitter named Cherry G. McKay. The dude is a level 63 first-grade savior, totally decked out in absolutely massive armor. Sure, their defenses are locked down, but the daughter is secretly freaking out. Why? She can't reach Heighton anywhere. He's a special-grade elite who completely ghosted her 6 hours ago. She's terrified he got ambushed by a massive monster wave en route. Her dad completely unbothered. He waves it off, acting like these local beasts are just annoying little bugs. Still, he stands firm on needing Heighton. Because honestly, only a true special-grade powerhouse can survive the nightmare coming from up north. But Cherry, this armored tank isn't buying the special-grade hype at all. He immediately starts acting super arrogant. He practically brags that the power gap between first and special grades is a total myth. He's convinced he can easily solo any beast. The old man shuts his ego down instantly, calls him downright delusional, warning that arrogance comes from never surviving a true boss-level nightmare. Boom, the trash talk dies instantly as a giant monolith crashes from the heavens and literal disaster-class monsters start swarming the place. With Heighton still missing in action, Cherry tries radiating ultimate main character energy. He boldly declares he's about to solo this entire monster wave himself, all to prove first-grade hunters are insanely cracked. Meanwhile, back inside the green barrier, our guy and his wolf enter a totally terrifying mirror dimension. A blinding green pillar erupts. That's when it clicks. This isn't the forest anymore. It's a pocket dimension totally isolated from the outside world. 5 new targets ping on the system, giving him a massive mana refill. He pats his shadow wolf, ordering him to guard the entrance. Crackle, he ignites his lightning aura, fully ready to sweep this entire area. But suddenly, 2 absolutely massive units charge straight at him. Blink and miss it. He effortlessly dodges one beast, then brutally body slams the second using his black wall. To cap it off, a devastating lightning blast that violently launches the remaining mobs completely across the zone. When a massive elite monster tries stepping up, our guy doesn't even let the beast finish its dramatic roar. Bang! He blasts clear orbs straight through its skull, casually bumping his critical rate up to 3%. With the beast dead, he stares down the green monolith. He's seriously wondering if a single attack could completely shatter this entire dimension. Ding. The system detects one final enemy. His eyes narrow, realizing the true final boss is still hiding somewhere deep in the shadows. Whoosh, deadly dark spikes violently explode from the earth, barely missing Tenma. He leaps away at the very last second. One terrifying realization hits him. If his monoradar hadn't caught that microsecond ripple, he would have been turned into a human kebab. He glances at the monolith. Right there, he finally spots the shadowy attacker lurking behind the stone structure. He instantly realizes the truth. This terrifying creature is leagues above the mindless fodder he just completely wiped out. No mindless beast here. This enemy is smart, calculating, and ridiculously deadly. Meanwhile, from the outside, that green barrier looks like a terrifying giant dome that just swallowed half the freaking forest. Iberia stands there totally battered and completely stressed out, terrified he's actually just a burden. But Jose drops some hardcore reality on him. He explains green barriers aren't like those basic gray ones. Gray dungeons just have brainless smashing mobs. Green zones, they actually spawn highly intelligent calculating boss generals like a terrifying level 34 four-horn nightmare. Jose looks him dead in the eye. He is not a burden because he is weak. Nah, Tenma is just built completely different. We are talking a tier of power that normal people cannot even dream of touching. Meanwhile, inside the dome, our boy is absolutely thrilled. He finally found one, a rumored intelligent monster. This thing is straight up disrespecting him, mocking his prayers and calling him a pathetic coward. Why? Just because he is level 0. It assumes he is shaking out of pure terror. Big mistake. Tenma flashes this terrifying grin. He is not scared. He is literally vibrating with hype. And just like that, overwhelming energy erupts around him. He stares down the beast. Tell me, do you feel pain? Oh, that completely triggers the boss. It shrieks back, claiming a pathetic human could never even scratch it. Then it lunges. Bladed limbs slicing through the air, carrying enough raw force to completely erase anything in its path. Tenma, he just sparks up his lightning and charges right back, meeting the beast head-on with a massive air-shredding counterattack. He figures he is dominating the clash right, but then something feels seriously off. Mid-fight, this creature's magic is spiking like crazy, and its reaction time, getting impossibly fast. Here is the catch. Tenma's base attack damage is still lacking, so his hits are barely putting a dent in this thing's ridiculously thick armor. The boss is actually a little impressed by his speed. But the respect ends there. It still calls him a worthless bug, bragging that 100 of those weak strikes would not even tickle. Tenma does not panic though. He just relies on that god-tier agility to dodge the blades. Get this, he starts using the monster's own limbs to block its attacks. The pressure is insane, but his defense remains absolutely flawless. He flat out challenges the beast. If you are really that strong, go ahead, try and land a single hit. It does not take long for the boss to figure it out. Tenma is burning all his lightning just to keep his speed maxed out, which makes the creature wonder. Just how much mana does this kid actually have left? Amidst this crazy blur of attacks, Tenma spots something crucial. Those antennas, they are literally an extension of its core body. That totally explains why his dodge skill kept glitching and failing against them. Still, he locks in, weaving through strikes, secretly counting every single micro-hit he manages to land. The beast just laughs at his useless effort. But with Tenma's mana finally flashing red, it is officially time to stop playing defense. He commits to the absolute all-in play, suddenly increasing his attack speed to a terrifying blur. He knows the reality. One single lucky critical strike wins this war. Because every tiny scratch he lands is quietly filling up the system's hidden pity meter. And the boss, completely clueless. Still scoffing, fully believing its bladed armor is totally unbreakable. But greed costs you. Rushing to stack those hits, Tenma pushes too hard and bam, he takes a brutal counterattack, a massive tentacle piercing straight through his gut. The creature instantly laughs. What happened to all that tough talk about pain? Honestly though, the beast is secretly stunned. Because his defense stat was somehow high enough to actually survive that fatal blow, things are looking incredibly bleak until a massive red aura erupts around Tenma. There it is, the crystal's signal. His pity timer just maxed out, meaning his very next strike is a guaranteed critical hit. He pools every single drop of energy he has left into his fist, and unleashes an absolutely devastating punch right into the monster's core. Boom, the impact is literally nuclear. A massive shockwave rips through the entire forest, blasting the creature backward with sheer unstoppable force. The boss gets blasted into a tree, totally paralyzed as it stares down at the gigantic crater in its own chest. Trying to process how a pathetic level 0 human just deleted its health bar in one punch. Honestly, even our boy is slightly shook. That critical damage was way higher than he expected. towering over the enemies. Tenma is just riding an insane high of adrenaline and total victory. Yeah, there is still a massive hole straight through his stomach, but right now, he cannot feel a damn thing. Breath steaming in the cold air, flashing that terrifying smile again. He grabs the boss by the face. So, do you finally understand pain now? The creature is absolutely losing its mind with fear, screaming that he is a cheating hack because his power scaling is logically impossible. Tenma coldly reminds it that the low-level fodder did not even get the luxury of screaming, and with one brutal motion, he finishes the boss for good. A system alert rings out. With the boss dead, his base critical hit chance permanently levels up to 4%. But when that battle adrenaline fades, oh man, the agony from his stomach hole hits him like a freight train. Then he notices the barrier is turning completely clear. That is the universal signal the zone is conquered. Bleeding out, he slowly limps over to the massive green monolith. Destroying this thing is the final step. One final weak punch shatters it into dust. The second the crystal drops, our boy completely collapses into the dirt. Exhausted but finally safe. Then it hits him. His new pet was busy grinding experience points. He weakly calls out for his shadow wolf death. And when the pup trots over, holy crap, he is incredibly chunky now. The system pops up, his pet just gained 3 whole levels, bagging an insane 150 stat points. Turns out this magical beast literally gets thicker and bigger with every single level up. Tenma stares at his chunky wolf, absolutely hyped. Just how massive is this beast going to get? Meanwhile, outside in the dead of night, that green barrier finally shatters into nothing. The veteran warriors outside frozen in pure shock. Jose just stares at the sky with a dead serious face. It hits him. This complete rookie just speed ran an impossible high-tier boss zone in 10 minutes flat. Utter destruction. Honestly, he made the veteran stats look like absolute garbage, but man, that win, it cost him big time. Our guy is basically destroyed, slumped against a rock, bleeding out everywhere with his loyal wolf standing guard. Watching his master's health bar drop into the red like a panicked bodyguard, he is completely paralyzed from exhaustion. Barely conscious, Tenma orders the beast to follow his mana trail straight back to his blonde teammate. No hesitation at all. The massive wolf lets out a howl that literally shakes the mountains. Back at camp, the armored veteran instantly hears it. And he goes on high alert. I mean, wasn't the zone totally cleared? Why are beasts still roaring out there? Weapons drawn, instant combat mode. He yells at the young apprentice to run, but the blonde kid just freezes up. He absolutely recognizes that roar from earlier. Then boom, a giant shadow explodes from the tree line. Joseph hefts his giant greatsword, fully preparing to one-shot whatever just ambushed them. But wait, Iberia realizes it's the wolf just in time. He screams at the veteran to stop, frantically explaining that this terrifying monster is actually a friendly unit. The beast dodges the blade with insane agility, fiercely shielding its unconscious master lying right against its side. Joseph's jaw hits the floor. He cannot compute how a literal level 0 nobody is out here commanding a boss-tier spirit. Iberia just sprints over, absolutely panicking. Like, how the heck is his friend suddenly dual-classing with insane summoner skills? It makes zero sense. Then he sees Tenma just absolutely shredded to pieces and desperately asks what kind of nightmare creature could do this much damage. Barely awake, Tenma just mumbles that he really needs to sleep and instantly passes out cold. Cue another total freakout from Iberia. Honestly, Joseph has to step in and actually be the responsible adult here. He calms the kid down, confirming Tenma is alive but needs serious medical help. Later, back at base watching his friend fighting for his life in bed, Iberia gets serious. The power gap between them, it is literally an uncrossable canyon. He stares at his hands. He is a wind elementalist, a class perfectly designed for raw speed and crowd control. But his specific C-rank trait, healing, wind, pure support, which totally tanks his personal attack stats and destroys his DPS. He always hated it, refused to use it. But seeing his absolute best friend, one foot in the grave, enough. No more holding back. He triggers the skill. A bright green aura explodes around him, flooding Tenma with pure healing magic. The magical backlash looks incredibly painful, but he grits his teeth. He practically begs his brother in arms to survive this, so they can keep conquering dungeons together. But wait, just as things calm down, a giant purple barrier traps the entire region. It feels like a fresh monolith nightmare. 1 second later, boom, a devastating energy wave literally cuts a skyscraper in half. Like it was wet paper, that butterfly healer girl from earlier scrambles, desperately trying to cast a spell on the fallen warrior. But he just screams at her to run away. Why? Because staring right at them is a level 81 Minotaur boss. Pure despair hits him. Humanity cannot survive a monster this massive. Nearby the armored tank, Cherry begs their guild leader to flee, but the guy just stands his ground like an absolute legend. The monster hears him grinning because it just found its bounty. Found him. It swings a fist the size of a truck right at him. The impact creates a massive earth-shattering shockwave. The glasses-wearing girl gets sent flying backward. She screams in pure terror for her father, who just tanked that directly. But watch this. The dust clears and he isn't even scratched. He just casually sighs, complaining that his backup arrived super late. Enter Heighten. The absolute powerhouse came in clutch, stopping that boss-level execution strike with literally just one hand. He smirks, apologizing for the terrible ping. Then he tells everyone to back up and let him solo this overgrown piece of beef. The Minotaur mocks the challenger. But Heighten, he isn't wasting a single second on some boring villain dialogue tree. Bam, he throws a single devastating punch that literally blasts a massive hole straight through the beast's chest. Witnessing that impossible feat, Cherry is completely paralyzed with shock. He starts realizing, is this what a true legendary class savior actually looks like? Just a terrifying monster wearing human skin. The young healer starts cheering wildly, but Heighten instantly cuts her off with a warning. Don't celebrate yet. The real nightmare is just beginning, as the massive sky barrier suddenly shifts into a terrifying blood-red color. Hidden deep within the shadows of that magic zone, a red-flamed demon casually watches all this chaos with an absolute sick grin. We are talking about a level 37 Demon King, and he is absolutely hyped to watch his Dark Lord torture these humans. And get this, he isn't alone. A hulking level 49 White Ogre is lurking right behind him, practically begging for a massacre. But the Supreme Demon General steps in, ordering the Ogre to stand down. He strictly reminds them this is an extraction mission, not a war. No random killing sprees today. This terrifying level 87 Dark General actually starts breaking down their entire twisted master plan. See those insane purple and red barriers? They are literally just a massive decoy designed to keep humanity's strongest fighters completely distracted. Looking totally confused, the Flame Demon asks why they were even deployed alongside. Lord Siru, the enemy general, breaks it down. If all three of them hide in one barrier, it glows purple. Way too obvious. His plan, let Lord Su drop a massive red barrier to bait out all the heavy hitters. Perfect distraction for Lord Linga's real mission. Right on cue, that absolute monster Lord Su lets out a blood-chilling roar from inside the zone. So while the top-tier hunters are busy fighting the red barrier, these demons are sneaking out the back with the actual prize. Get this. Lord Linga is literally playing chess from afar, tracking everything through a demonic eye secretly planted in the human zone. We're talking a crystal-clear live 4K feed on Tenma. And speaking of our boy, he suddenly jolts awake. Cold sweat dripping. One eye glowing a sinister red. Still frozen in bed, totally shaken by this heavy nightmare about his late mom. Flashback to the dream. Little Tenma is hyped, bragging to her ghost that he finally found a monster that can actually feel pain, thinking his revenge was complete. But his mother's spirit, yeah, she was absolutely not having it. She begged him stop the bloodbath. She wanted him to use those insanely broken powers to protect his loved ones, not just slaughter everything. But young Tenma completely snapped, forgiving the absolute garbage that murdered his parents. Yeah, zero chance of that happening. Eyes practically blazing with raw hatred, he made a vow. Every single monster in existence, dead. His mom just flashed this heartbreaking, fading smile. Her spirit started glitching out. Time was up. She had to leave him behind. Panic hit him. He reached out, desperately swiping at her hand, but their fingers just barely brushed before she vanished into dust, leaving him sobbing alone in the pitch black. But then, the vibe gets worse. Some creepy voice starts literally roasting him for crying. Our boy snaps his head around. And standing right there, his worst nightmare. The literal demon of destruction in the flesh. The villain mocks him for acting like a pathetic kid. Boom, a massive red aura of unfiltered rage explodes around Tenma. He launches forward for a killer punch, but the demon casually traps him in this suffocating purple energy, promising him that exact same soul-shattering pain all over again. Instantly, Tenma's body starts cracking, literally splitting like fragile glass. But he refuses to yield, screaming he's gonna wipe Linga from reality completely, right until his dream body explodes into dust. Back in the real world, Tenma gasps hard, red eye glowing like a beacon, noticing Iberia completely passed out beside him. A brutal phantom pain shoots through his eye. Makes zero sense, honestly, because physically, he's totally fine. His mind is racing. What did that nightmare mean? But hold on. He looks down. His wounds are totally gone. The realization hits him. His buddy literally burned the midnight oil spamming healing magic all night just to save his life. Seeing Iberia absolutely drained like that, yeah, the guilt creeps in. He frantically signals his wolf death to keep it quiet. But the big goofy dog roars anyway. Smooth. Iberia snaps awake instantly, jumping straight into a battle stance, swearing they're under attack. Meanwhile, our boy just sits there completely unbothered by Iberia's pathetic little wind blast, thinking to himself that a falling leaf would probably deal more damage. But seeing Tenma alive, Iberia is absolutely ecstatic. He tackles him into a massive hug, losing his mind that his crazy healing skills actually worked a miracle. Tenma asks for a time check. Turns out he's only been knocked out for roughly 3 hours. But that math changes everything. 3 hours means they just crossed over. It's officially day 2 of the cursed prophecy. Iberia swears the perimeter is secure, but Tenma not buying it. Those bad vibes from the nightmare are lingering hard. He throws his jacket on. Zero chance he's dropping his guard now. Stepping out, his mind shifts straight to Josuke. Iberia tries to suggest some cute names for the giant shadow wolf. Hard pass. Tenma shuts it down fast. He's no summoner. He's super defensive of his pet, honestly. The second they step foot outside the tent, Josuke locks eyes on them and calls it out instantly. Bandages don't heal people that fast. He looks at Iberia. Did the kid finally use his powers? Tenma pauses. The guy is an actual healer, definitely a surprise, but our protagonist just plays it cool and moves on, noting that the kid can throw down too. Still, he files that info away, walking toward the veteran by the campfire. Getting straight to business, Tenma demands to know if backup showed up. Josuke gives him this weird, confused look. Bro, this forest is a nightmare maze. Travel is brutally slow. But Tenma, his instincts are screaming otherwise. The air feels thick. He can sense this disgusting heavy aura bleeding through the shadows. Something absolutely lethal is hunting them down. Cut to somewhere deep in the woods. Backup is actually on the way, sprinting full speed to reach Tenma's location. Ponytail guy is whining to Kobayashi about the trash terrain. But hey, pulling this off means a massive rank promotion. Easy money, right? Wrong. Suddenly, the pink-haired girl in their squad yells at everyone to freeze. Dead stop. Her radar is going crazy. Weapons out now. Something fast is approaching. And perfectly timed, 2 shadowy assassins step straight out of the brush, realizing they've been caught. And guess who just crashed the party? The flame-haired demon bringing along his creepy white ogre sidekick. Flashing this absolutely twisted smile, the flame demon actually asks if they are all heading to the same party. Chilling. Zero time to react. Boom, he summons a literal flaming skeleton right to the front line, straight up roasting these humans for being so incredibly fragile, bragging that just one little fireball kicked off all this chaos. Meanwhile, that white ogre is standing right over a completely flattened warrior. Literally punched the poor guy straight into the dirt. Even the fire demon calls out the ogre for being way too extra with that hit. Striking him that hard, yeah, it is crystal clear, these reinforcements are definitely in for a painfully long night. Our pink-haired girl is absolutely spiraling right now. She is screaming, demanding to know how these freaks even spawned here without a barrier. The fire demon just gives her this cruel smirk. He conjures up a fireball bragging about crossing serious distances just to completely ruin her day. Total despair hits hard. She breaks down sobbing, finally realizing she is completely trapped in a zero-win scenario. It is game over. But the demon general casually glares at the fire demon. Do not touch my kill. Then bam. An ice attack blasts the fire demon out of nowhere, freezes him completely solid right on the spot. And the general makes it painfully obvious that was just a friendly little warning shot. Cross the line again and things get way worse. Absolutely furious, the fire demon finally manages to shatter the ice. He bursts free in a massive blaze of flames, but secretly he is sweating bullets over coming inches away from a permanent game over. Meanwhile, the girl is just frozen in pure shock, just watching these 2 absolute powerhouses aggressively flex on each other right in front of her. She actually wonders if they might let her walk away. But nah, the fire demon definitely does not think she deserves any kind of mercy. The general, though, he just wants to test a brand new gift from his lord. Boom, dark energy tendrils erupt violently, snatching the girl. She screams in pure agony as the dark magic forcibly overwrites her entire system. The smoke finally clears. She is standing there perfectly still, face completely hidden in the shadows, and her whole vibe completely different, while his partner assumes she is totally dead now. Nope. The general reveals she has not been deleted, she has been converted into a demon. Her eyes glow blood red, a dark mark appearing on her forehead. And the general proudly confirms it. She is officially a totally loyal puppet for their side of this brutal war. The girl instantly drops to one knee asking for her orders. The general tells her to go deep undercover in human society and play the helpless victim. Tell everyone her squad got totally wiped out, making her the sole survivor. Then just lay low and wait for their big boss Linga to finally arrive. Mission completely locked in. Just like that, she fades right into the dark forest to kick off her massive infiltration. The fire demon is honestly still confused though. Why even bother recruiting such completely low-tier humans? The general drops a bombshell: they have already converted thousands. We are talking about actual top-tier awakened fighters included in that list. These sleeper agents, high-value chess pieces for when their lord officially conquers the world. Then the leader instantly shuts down the chatter. Time to finally move out. He reminds everyone there this specific mission right here, absolute highest priority on their list. Fast forward, day 2 of the prophecy. and there is this massive iron golem standing guard over a completely dead silent village. Looking at it, Josei points out those insane golem tank stats. It definitely makes up for their tiny party size as they prep for this next raid. He asks where Tenma went. Iberia just shrugs, letting him know the dark-haired guy is currently tied up at the workshop. Cut to the workshop. Tenma is totally geeking out with her dad over this wild crystal that activated during his last major scrap. He explains it had a pathetic 3% crit chance, but get this, it jumped up to 4% right after he took down that forest beast. The old craftsman, seriously impressed, noting that landing a critical hit with RNG that absolutely terrible is basically a literal miracle. But our boy admits it was not just about the extra damage output. Something changed. He felt like he entered this perfect flow state, like he could see every single attack coming, completely untouchable. The blacksmith strokes his chin quietly, thinking it all over, wondering if it is some crazy hidden perk of his gear. You know the feeling, that legendary Ultra Instinct mode where everything just slows down, where the pure chaos of a life or death battle feels like a literal walk in the park. Tenma nods hard, confirming that is exactly how it felt. Just completely dancing around those deadly monsters in the middle of all that extreme danger. Hearing this, the dad is visibly shook. He explains that Tenma actually tapped into the true flow state during live combat. He describes it as that absolute ultra-rare phenomenon, where a fighter gets so deeply dialed into the moment that the rest of the world around them, it literally just stops existing. Seeing the kid look a bit lost with the jargon, the blacksmith breaks it down simply. Imagine a painter who completely forgets to eat, because they are so locked into creating a masterpiece, or an athlete whose body just takes over pure autopilot, making absolute zero mistakes. For an awakened fighter, hitting this zone makes their senses absolutely cracked. Every single stat and skill gets a massive 120% buff, instantly turning them into an absolute monster on the battlefield, way more dangerous than usual. Tenma is just standing there, completely stunned, because his master literally never mentioned this existed. The old man smiles. It takes laser focus and insane luck to trigger. That is the exact line separating true geniuses from everybody else. Most people, they never even catch a glimpse of it. The master craftsman himself admitted it took 2 grueling years of awakening just to tap into that zone once. Yet our boy pulled it off in a single month. A literal impossible speedrun record. But wait, Tenma's focus suddenly shifts. 3 massive pitch-black signatures are closing in, fast. At first they figure it's just the local guards on patrol. No way. This energy, way too toxic. We're talking disaster-level beasts here. He isn't waiting around moving to check the perimeter immediately. Bursting out of the workshop, he kicks the door wide open. His face dead serious, fully prepared to throw hands. His crew outside is completely lost by the sudden panic. But he shouts a warning. Heavy magical waves are incoming. Bad news. Iberia tries playing it cool. She points out they've got no barrier, sure, but the heavy-duty iron golem is on guard. Yeah, that logic shatters in about 2 seconds. Out of nowhere, bam, something slams into that golem with absolute godlike speed. Iberia's jaw literally drops. This massive, towering metal giant punched clean through the center of its chest. The entire heavy frame just crumbles into useless scrap. Josie is frozen too. The golem got straight up one-tapped before even registering an attack. And from the dust, 3 high-tier demons step out. A literal demon general and his elite hit squad making their grand entrance. The system chimes in. It's barely day 2 of the prophecy. Meanwhile, a suffocating, incredibly heavy aura completely paralyzes the air. Our protagonist locks onto them and reality hits hard. These guys leagues above any trash mobs they fought back in the barrier. The leader's magic alone is completely suffocating. Without a doubt, the most oppressive energy he's ever experienced in his entire life. The shadow boss steps up, announcing he'll personally handle capturing their target. As for his 2 subordinates, they're on trash disposal duty. But he drops one absolute rule. Do not scratch the demonic eye under any circumstances. The monsters nod, locking in on their prey. Hearing these beasts actually speak completely rattles the human squad. But Josie, he isn't about to just stand around trembling. Stepping right to the front lines, he swears nobody is getting past him. Sword raised high, he straight up charges the shadow leader. But mid-sprint panic sets in. He is seriously struggling just to track the demon's casual movements. The enemy's speed is basically glitched, totally broken. Still, he and Iberia are fully committed to protecting their friend at any cost. Not happening. The shadow demon carelessly tosses up an ice wall, completely shutting down Josie's rush like a literal brick wall. He slams face first into the solid frost, completely blocked off. And his strongest sword strikes, they don't even dent that magic. While he's panicking, the white ogre literally spawns right behind his back, throwing a massive hook. The warrior desperately spins to block, but the raw physical power of that hit absolutely cracked. He gets launched backward through the air like a useless ragdoll. Tenma screams out for his teammate, but the fire demon smirks, reminding the kid he has absolutely zero time to worry about others. Flashing a twisted grin, the monster hurls a gigantic fireball right at his face. Seeing death approaching, our boy yells at Iberia to retreat. He slams down his black wall, preparing to tank the blast. Boom! The massive explosion leaves Iberia completely paralyzed in horror. Meanwhile, Tenma's system immediately triggers an A-rank copy skill to analyze those flames, though progress is painfully stuck at just 1%. Looking down at his badly scorched arms, Tenma realizes a harsh truth. He way overestimated his defense, definitely should have just dodged. The fire demon just laughs, mocking the kid for thinking some pathetic ice shield could handle its legendary heat, though internally, the monster worries it went slightly too hard on the precious demonic eye vessel. Tenma is literally gasping on his knees. Then the demon scans his stats. Level 0, it bursts into hysterical laughter, figuring it'll just vaporize him and ignore the boss's orders. The power gap is just ridiculously huge. But Tenma, he refuses to fold. He instantly summons his Death Hound to level the playing field. The demon completely ridicules this 2-on-1 setup. A basic wolf summon, it brags that 10 more mutts wouldn't change this absolute slaughter. But our guy is ignoring the trash talk. He's betting absolutely everything on this hound to carry them out alive. Another massive explosion rocks the field, but the demon's eyes widen. The kid perfectly dodged it, and wait, something is completely sus about that wolf. It isn't just blindly following its master. That beast is actively shifting to block the demon from reaching its actual objective. While setting this up, Tenma runs the numbers. If he plays the pathetic victim, he might just bait this arrogant monster into stalling. But honestly, acting like a coward just isn't in his DNA. Forget that. His aura violently explodes, eyes glowing, blood red wrapped in blue lightning. Looking the demon dead in the eyes, basically calling him completely mid. Oh, that does it. The fire demon is absolutely triggered by the disrespect. Time to turn this brat into pure ash. It unleashes another devastating blast, but Tenma, he completely steps out of the way. Clean dodge. He's already downloaded the enemy's attack pattern. It's just a long-range zoner with average movement speed, knowing that he's closing the gap. Time to force a brutal close-quarters brawl. Charging forward with explosive momentum, he completely catches the demon off guard with this insane rush. The monster is genuinely stunned by how fast this kid can move. Still, it forces a grin, keeping its fiery gaze locked directly on our boy. That sickening smirk on the demon's face, absolute trap. But our boy does not hesitate, launching a brutal kick anyway. But right before impact, boom, the monster conjures a shield of pure roaring flames, blocking the strike flawlessly. Point-blank counterattack. A concentrated fire blast slams directly into his chest, launching him backwards so hard he shatters a tree on impact. Tenma forces himself up, cursing his mistake. Even the demon is impressed, convinced he is fighting some intelligent beast in human skin. Because honestly, there is absolutely zero chance a level 0, nobody should possess that kind of insane speed. Battered and bruised, our boy still pushes himself back up. Fists clenched, he locks eyes with the monster with pure, unyielding defiance. The flame creature laughs, admitting the act fooled him completely. He tells the kid to just lie down and accept his painful loss. But Tenma, he just checks his system screen. The enemy power analysis is sitting at 81%. He just needs to buy a few more minutes. Meanwhile, let us jump back to the village at exactly 3:14 a.m. The shadow demon leader is looming right over Iberia's dad, casually rattling off the old man's massive list of legendary achievements. Calling him humanity's absolute peak craftsman, the monster basically asks if he is really going to throw his precious life away tonight. The message is clear: stay useful and you get to live. But the old blacksmith, yeah, he is not buying that garbage. Looking the demon dead in the eye, he refuses to become an obedient dog, charging forward with his heavy tools swinging. But before his foot even hits the ground, instant freeze. His entire body locks solid inside a massive ice block. Stepping closer, the demon cruelly reminds him that in this territory, he alone plays God with who gets to keep their life. Hiding just a few feet away, Iberia is watching this nightmare unfold, completely losing his mind as his dad gets captured. Crouched behind some heavy armor, the kid is literally shaking with terror. Then, out of nowhere, Tenma's Death Hound comes crashing through. Iberia instantly recognizes the familiar summon, watching, hopefully, as the fierce beast lunges straight for the shadow leader's throat in full rage. But the boss demon does not even flinch. He just glares at the wolf and in one blink freezes the beast completely solid. He angrily barks at his minions for letting trash slip past them, while the frozen blacksmith realizes backup actually tried to help, even if that backup is currently an ice sculpture. From his hiding spot, Iberia is absolutely horrified that such a powerhouse got one-shotted. The kid knows he is severely outclassed. His immediate instinct is to dial Tenma for backup, but his dad's stern warning flashes back. Calling his best friend now would just drag a badly injured guy into a literal meat grinder, and he refuses to be selfish. His eyes harden with pure, raw determination. Running away right now, that is strictly for absolute cowards. He is going to rescue his old man himself, whatever the cost. Suddenly he remembers it, the dragon gear, his dad's ultimate masterpiece. That legendary armor is literally his only win condition right now. He immediately sprints toward the workshop, praying it is stashed under the bed. He is desperately begging his dad in his head to just survive a little longer while he secures this massive cheat code. But right then, the shadow boss completely catches on that someone was just camping nearby and bailed. He laughs, calling the runaway an absolute coward for abandoning the old blacksmith to face this deadly threat alone. Without missing a beat, the cruel demon officially announces he is dragging the old man off to his final destination. And the master craftsman just left frozen solid inside that ice block, completely helpless to fight back against this absolute nightmare. Meanwhile, across the battlefield, things are awful. The flame demon is charging up his ultimate fatality, the red flame bullet to obliterate Tenma. Our protagonist is hurting bad. With a heavily scorched leg, he throws up his black wall ability, just to hide the severe damage. He triggers Thunderbreaker, pushing past his absolute limits to squeeze out every ounce of speed, barely dodging massive explosions everywhere. But the fire monster sees his movements clearly starting to lag. Naturally, the demon starts spitting arrogant trash talk. He mockingly asks how much longer a half-dead kid can actually outrun a guaranteed endgame strike like this. Panic sets in. Tenma realizes the monster is raising both hands now, telegraphing a devastating wide-range AoE blast. With a psychotic roar, the demon unleashes dozens of fiery projectiles, raining down an inescapable firestorm across the whole zone. Tenma's eyes snap wide. Death is closing in from all angles, and his completely exhausted body just cannot physically pull off another perfect dodge. Out of options, he tightly crosses his arms, bracing for impact, because this hit is going to deal absolutely massive damage. Just when he looks completely cooked, the system interface flashes. The combat analysis has successfully reached 90%. Gritting his teeth against the melting heat, he watches that progress bar frantically climb. 92%, 94%, 98%. It continues until a brutal direct hit finally sends him flying, getting completely swallowed by the raging flames. While falling, a traumatic core memory of his mother burning in blue flames hits him, stacking, crushing emotional damage onto his physical agony. The demon smirks, charging one final piercing shot to end it. But at the literal last millisecond, analysis hits 100%. A brilliant blue barrier explodes outward, tanking the fatal hit flawlessly. The resulting collision is mind-blowing. Boom, a massive shockwave tears through the battlefield. And the flame demon, completely stunned by this crazy new shield. Then the system chimes in. Blackwall just hit level 3, granting Tenma an absolutely insane 50-point stat boost, plus a full instant heal. He does the math. This insane upgrade is basically like skipping 4 whole levels entirely. Talk about main character energy. That demon is literally malfunctioning, completely unable to grasp why its flames do 0 damage. It assumes the kid just spammed a basic shield. Nope. The evolved skill actually forms this massive, beautiful ice lotus, so the fire beast tries to shake it off. It readies another massive attack, convincing itself the real fight starts now. But wait. It suddenly freezes right in its tracks, eyes practically popping out in absolute horror. The reality hits. Our guy is sitting at 100% health, looking totally spotless like he was never touched. Tenma just stares straight through the beast. He casually mentions how his original game plan was just saving Aiden first. But getting burned, yeah, that triggered some serious past life trauma. So now he's changing the schedule time to delete this monster completely. His eyes flash blood red with unfiltered rage. He swears he's going to stomp this thing into the dirt. Meanwhile, Josuke gets absolutely sent flying across the forest, crashing hard after a devastating blow. A desperate parry with his karma tool barely saved him. Slower reflexes there, he'd be straight back in the lobby. Even blocking it felt like getting hit by a truck. He struggles to his feet, desperately coughing through the thick dust. Seriously, he got yeeted so incredibly far. Figuring out these aren't your everyday low-level mobs, he plans to strategically retreat. Boom, another explosion completely blinds him. But cutting right through the dense smoke, that exact same nightmare beast comes charging, tongue whipping wildly like absolute nightmare fuel. But instead of running away, Josuke makes a crazy choice. He pulls its aggro. Anything to keep it off. Tenma eyes burning with fierce resolve, he vows to finish this fast and rush back home. Speaking of the workshop, Iberia is tearing the place apart, looking for a clutch buff, digging wildly beneath the heavy furniture. Jackpot. His fingers graze cold metal. He screams out in pure hype as he finally pulls up the legendary dragon gear. This epic drop literally grants a massive plus 100 to both attack and agility. But only for a 15-minute window. He slams the crimson armor on. Incredible power surges instantly. He swears he is totally done being the useless dead weight. Yet his old man's warning echoes loud. This gear is deeply dangerous. That 15-minute countdown is an absolute fatal hard limit. Honestly, that just boosts his speed. He sets one unbreakable mission: save his dad from this disaster before that timer hits 0. Cut to the Shadow General. He stands gloating over the frozen blacksmith, laughing at his pathetic escape attempt. This arrogant villain loudly brags that only special-grade powerhouses could ever ruin his flawless master plan. And since humanity's absolute top tiers are currently locked down fighting the Demon Lord, nobody is coming to play the hero today. Freezing in his solid ice prison, the poor blacksmith just wonders why they did all this for a basic crafting NPC. The general sneers, telling him to drop the ego. He's literally just one tiny gear in a massive world-ending master plot. Right when this monster feels untouchable, wait, it senses killing intent. Someone is tearing through those trees at completely insane speeds. Dead set on their location, out of nowhere, Iberia absolutely explodes through the tree line, literally moving like a crimson blur. He dives headfirst toward the monster, a desperate all-or-nothing blitz to smash the ice and free the blacksmith. The general glares, looking seriously ticked off. He bitterly complains how these annoying humans just endlessly respawn and refuse to stay dead. Back on the main battlefield, Tenma is chilling on his frozen lotus. Honestly, looking more like he left a spa than a war zone. The fire demon is practically short-circuiting. It desperately tries to comprehend the impossible logic right here. I mean, it literally just roasted this kid to a crisp, yet here he stands without a single visible scratch anywhere. The monster refuses to accept that our guy basically just hacked his health bar back to max. So the demon snaps. Heals or no heals, the outcome won't change. It wildly unleashes an absolute hellstorm of flaming projectiles, raining absolute destruction everywhere just to permanently delete this guy. Tenma's reaction: he just casually pops that overpowered black wall again. Massive explosions kick up blinding dust. The demon actually laughs, totally convinced it turned him into literal ashes. Smoke clears, and what do you know? He strolls out completely unfazed while the system proudly announces another 15% defense buff. He doesn't even break stride. Activating Thunderbreaker, he surges forward, wrapped in violent electricity that makes the demon's jaw hit the floor. Our boy is moving faster now, literally phasing straight through that scorching fire barrier like it's made of paper. Staring with absolute dead-eyed focus, Tenma calmly warns the beast, yeah, time to rip those scales off. He shoots forward like a dark blur, landing a punch so unbelievably heavy on that protective shield, it instantly splinters and shatters into nothing. He rips out this absolutely primal roar, and just like that, his resistance stats skyrocket by another 15%. And our so-called terrifying demon, he starts sweating bullets. He takes one look at our protagonist's defense stats and almost straight up passes out. Over 600 points, for a human that is completely broken. It finally clicks. This level 0 kid isn't prey, he's a walking raid boss. The demon's survival instincts scream at him to run. Total panic sets in. He turns, sprinting through the trees, absolutely shrieking for backup. But escape, not happening. Tenma blitzes right past him and slams him into the dirt. Suddenly, this mighty beast is pathetically begging for his life. Tenma's reaction: absolute 0. Ice in his veins. He tunes out the pathetic whining, channeling an unbelievable, terrifying surge of energy right into his fist. Then, ding, the system chimes in with the ultimate notification. The next strike, guaranteed critical hit. The monster stares up in pure horror, honestly wondering which one of them is the actual demon here. Tenma explodes forward, pure lightning trailing behind him. Impact. The punch connects with such devastating force that the landscape literally cracks open, swallowing everything in a massive dust cloud. The dust eventually settles, and there stands Tenma, casually looking down at the absolute crater he just created. Fight's over. But get this, our boy is actually annoyed. He totally wanted to drag out the torture before blasting that monster out of existence forever. Then a massive realization hits him. Right after landing that devastating blow, he had completely slipped back into that legendary, untouchable flow state. It gets him thinking, is there some hidden system mechanic linking his critical strikes directly to this god-tier combat focus? Checking his system window, boom. His overall stats just shattered the 2,000-point ceiling. This isn't just an upgrade, he's literally entered a completely different weight class now. Right on cue, the dead demon's soul fractures. 2 brilliant green orbs of karma shoot out, darting frantically through the dense forest canopy. He tracks the glowing trails with his eyes. One chunk of energy is flying straight toward Joseph, while the second is beelining for the workshop. This actually throws him off. With both Death and Aiden chilling over there, shouldn't those energy spheres have scattered a lot more? But he doesn't waste time second-guessing. Lightning flares around him as he blasts forward, terrified that the unsplit energy means Aiden might already be dead. Meanwhile, the workshop situation, an absolute nightmare. The Shadow General is casually brushing off Iberia's desperate strikes like he's swatting away flies. As for our guy, Iberia is pushing his dragon armor beyond its absolute max, but his ultimate attacks are dealing 0 damage. He is boiling over with absolute rage right now. Giving up though, not in his vocabulary. He vows to just keep spamming his heaviest hits until this monster's defenses completely shatter. But this Shadow General couldn't care less. He looks at the kid like trash on the bottom of his shoe, casually mocking the astronomical gap in their power. Things get emotional. Iberia's dad, literally trapped in solid ice, is screaming his lungs out. He's begging his son to drop the armor, threatening disownment out of pure gut-wrenching terror. But Iberia, he's completely dialed into the zone now. One thought crosses his mind, Tenma. If his best friend was standing here right now, he'd risk it all without hesitating for a single second. Shutting out his father's cries, he launches himself off a massive vantage point. A pure suicide dive, pouring absolutely every last drop of mana into this one strike. The Shadow General just rolls his eyes at the touching family drama. Utterly disgusted, he decides it's time to end this little game. Flicking his wrist, he summons a blast of absolute zero magic and effortlessly snipes the kid right out of the sky. Bam! Iberia is instantly encased in ice mid-dive. Total paralysis. He can't even twitch a muscle. Same brutal spell. Another helpless victim. And of course the general starts giving this arrogant speech about knowing your proper place. To make matters worse, red system alerts flash instantly. The dragon armor's battery is critically low, only 3 minutes until total failure. But right then, just when the ice is about to claim its next prize, the wolf hits a massive level up. Jumping from 19 straight to 20, the beast obliterates its frozen cage. It steps out, radiating raw power completely, ready to rip some throats out. Tenma catches up instantly, piecing the puzzle together. His wolf actually devoured that stray green karma from the fire monster he just executed. Talk about a perfect power-up. But there's literally zero time to celebrate the new stats. A sickening purple light catches his eye. Heavy, suffocating dark magic is bleeding out from a nearby crater. Trust me, he isn't waiting for backup. He charges straight into the danger zone. Cut to the outside battle, Jose throws down with the massive white ogre swinging heavy and beautifully chops its arm clean off. But missing a limb barely slows it down. It lunges forward like a freight train, forcing the warrior into a desperate slide to dodge those claws. Jose shoots a look at the massive gash he opened up seconds ago. His stomach drops. The wound is sealed back to full health. He's genuinely rattled now. This freak's healing factor is honestly game-breaking. Look, he's traded blows with some serious top-tier nightmares in the past, but this thing's infinite health glitch easily makes it the most frustrating boss fight of his entire life. Spotting a glowing karma sphere close by, he completely zones in. This one, all him. He channels absolutely every last drop of his energy straight into that blade. Now it's pulsing this terrifying blood-red light. He dashes in for the kill, but wait. This monster, actually smart. It instantly crosses its massive arms and completely blocks the strike right over its core. Joski touches down, frustrated. That knockout blow totally denied. But hold on, that exact block just gave him the blueprint to win. Those arms, they are literally the only defense keeping this creature alive right now. Destroy the shield, expose the core. Simple. A razor-sharp, totally confident smirk spreads across his face. You know that look. He just cracked the code. Exploding forward again, he unleashes this absolute hurricane of lightning-fast strikes. Straight at its chest. But get this, he's not aiming to kill. Not yet. He's ruthlessly hacking away at both limbs. His battle IQ is insane. He already calculated the cooldown. This beast needs exactly 1 full second to heal after taking heavy damage. And 1 single second, that's plenty of time. Eyes blazing with pure intensity, he channels absolutely everything into a final earth-shattering strike. A massive arc of crimson energy completely tears through the air. Direct hit to the core. Boom. Target officially eliminated. Catching his breath, Joski mutters that this fight was way too close. Dealing with an overpowered regenerator, seriously draining work. But as the dust settles, resting isn't an option. He has to regroup with Tenma immediately. The next phase is already starting. Meanwhile, pure nightmare fuel for the blacksmith. That terrifying Shadow General, yeah, he has the poor guy completely trapped. And this villain is absolutely loving the old man's suffering. Now the craftsman has just one desperate plea. He begs this absolute monster to just let his boy live. Leave the kid out of it, but a merciful villain, yeah, not happening today. The general coldly reveals the truth. The old man's mind is about to be completely erased. Nothing but a mindless, empty puppet going forward. Then comes the bombshell revelation about his son's equipment. The general instantly recognizes that armor, it's an ancient relic from the legendary dragon race. Here's the terrifying part, their souls don't just disappear. That draconic energy stays trapped inside the metal, literally functioning like a deadly parasite. Keep wearing it, big mistake, because that ancient beast's leftover spirit slowly begins devouring the user's sanity piece by piece, until finally an actual ancient dragon completely hijacks their physical body. Now the story cuts back to a crucial memory. We see Joski and Iberia walking side by side. The kid is absolutely fangirling over Tenma. just endless pure admiration. This actually throws Joski for a loop. He turns and asks why this guy. Out of everyone, why the intense obsession with him? There are so many other absolute powerhouses out there to idolize. Joski even starts listing off a bunch of top-tier legends they both know, hinting that hey, even his own name carries way more weight than this kid realizes. Suddenly, Iberia just freezes up. Complete silence. It hits him, he literally has no idea why. He just stands there totally shocked that he can't even justify his biggest idol. That tiny interaction completely messes with his head. He realizes his respect for Tenma was just a default setting he never questioned. Basically a passive skill he never even bothered reading the description for. Flashback to 10 years ago, tiny Iberia, radiating pure protagonist vibes, swinging this little wooden sword around like it's a legendary world-ending blade. His mom is just watching nearby, giving the sweetest smile. She asks if he loves his new birthday present, and oh man, he is completely obsessed. He even christens the toy with an epic title, declaring loudly that he is destined to be a true hero, the guy shielding everyone from those terrifying monsters outside. He sprints away to show the neighborhood crew. His dad just quietly observes him from the porch. Honestly, the man is secretly worried his boy doesn't even have any actual friends. And yeah, that happy energy fades real quick. Little Iberia rushes over to flex his absolute treasure to the group. But instantly, the vibe turns incredibly hostile. Pure toxic energy. Pure jealousy on their faces. The leader immediately demands to grab the weapon. Our boy instantly feels the massive red flags. He clutches his wooden blade tight. But they swarm him, throwing cruel insults about his father just being some lowly craftsman, mocking him, saying he can just forge another cheap toy. Iberia desperately wants to fight back, but pure panic sets in. He's paralyzed. Forcing this awful, shaky smile while holding back tears, he surrenders the weapon. The bullies just crack up and sprint off with their prize. A brutal wide shot from above. Just a tiny, isolated kid standing completely alone in this huge empty space, robbed of his treasure. He stands there chewing his lip until it hurts, completely furious with himself. Why couldn't he just be brave for once? Defeated, he shuffles back into the family forge. His dad is steadily hammering hot iron while his mother takes a quiet rest nearby. His mom softly asks if he had fun outside, and he drops an absolute flat-out lie right to her face, claiming it was amazing just to stop her from worrying. But moms know. She immediately sees right through his obvious lie. She goes dead silent. Meanwhile, his dad, who definitely understands exactly what happened, casually asks where his brand new weapon is. Instantly, his mom goes full protective mode, ready to march out and demand it back, but his dad stops her. The brutal truth, even if they get it back, those bullies will just relentlessly target him again. He fiercely slams his hammer down, beyond frustrated that his own son completely lacks the courage to just ask for backup when life gets hard. He is not trying to be a jerk seriously. He is just genuinely terrified that his kid is way too soft for this brutal world. Fast forward a few months. The next memory hits hard. Little Iberia, absolutely bawling his eyes out in a cold hospital hallway. His eyes flicker with this faint golden glow. Meanwhile, his dad is completely losing his mind, grabbing a doctor by the coat and screaming for them to save her. Inside that room, his mom calls out to him. Just a whisper, barely even there. The kid bolts to her bedside. He grips her hand like his own life depends on it, literally begging her to stay. She speaks one last time. She tells him, yeah, his dad might call him weak, but she knows the truth. He just has a remarkably kind heart. But then she drops a heavy truth bomb. Kindness without strength, that is a terribly dangerous combination. Because eventually, you will end up hurting the ones you love simply because you cannot protect them. She tells him to level up for real, to become genuinely strong and fearless for the moments that actually matter. Watch over your dad, she asks. And then, she tells him she is 100% certain he will become a legendary awakened one. Flatline. The boy absolutely breaks. Through his tears, he makes a vow to become the strongest, bravest fighter in the entire world. Snapping back to reality, Iberia remembers his very first time meeting Tenma. Honestly, the guy's power was just on a completely different level. It was straight up terrifying. The kid genuinely figured this monster was just some temporary ally who would quickly move on. But hanging around him, he realized Tenma was built entirely different. He watched this absolute beast solo hundreds of awakened fighters, taking down disaster-class beasts without even blinking. But beneath that terrifying exterior, Tenma always found a way to help others out. Quietly, with this genuine warmth that absolutely nobody would ever see coming. Eventually, Iberia says it out loud to Jose. The only reason he is grinding so desperately, just to follow the exact path Tenma is walking. Pure determination. He looks at Jose and admits it, Tenma is the exact legendary awakened one he has always dreamed of being. But then reality hits. His confidence drops. He feels completely talentless, like a total coward who could never actually reach that godlike tier. Yet even covered in his own blood, the kid just smiles. Fighting side by side with a guy like that is a massive win for him. But then, the corruption hits 100%. That cursed dragon suit completely takes over his mind. And Iberia. He transforms into a full-blown monstrous dragon. Before the beast can even react, a super familiar voice calls his name. The monster turns around, and there is Tenma just standing there, staring right through him. Our main character spots him from a distance. He yells out, clearly annoyed, reminding the kid he was literally forbidden from using that dangerous dragon gear. But wait. He notices black smoke pouring from the kid's mouth. Yeah, something is incredibly wrong here. His movements are completely unnatural. He doesn't even look human anymore. Suddenly, the dragon kid's eyes flash bloody red as he mutters under his breath. So Tenma asks what he is saying. Where is his dad? But then boom, out of nowhere, the beast lets out an ear-shattering roar. It launches a lethal blind spot attack, but Tenma lightning reflexes. He grabs the claw mid-strike, screaming at his friend to snap out of it. He shoves the monster back hard. They lock eyes for a split second, almost like the real Iberia is desperately trying to speak. Ding. The system pings. Windblade activated. Suddenly, volatile blue energy starts violently crackling around the beast's razor-sharp claws. It fires an air slash so devastating it literally deletes everything in its path. Tenma instantly pops magic detection to figure out this madness. Just before impact dodge, he slips past it completely, realizing he is dealing with a high-tier wind elemental skill. Is the armor controlling him, or is it something far worse? Either way, playtime is over. Tenma activates Thunderbreaker. He decides the only solution is knocking some sense into his teammate. Across the field, the armored beast charges at absolute max speed. Impact, a massive collision. But even while trading these insane blows, Tenma can still feel his friend's faint aura buried deep beneath the corruption. It totally throws him off balance. Why in the world is his own loyal teammate trying to murder him right now? Then a whisper, a faint voice echoing from inside the monster. It sounds exactly like Iberia practically begging to be put out of his misery. That brutal realization hits like a truck. But before Tenma can even react, the beast roars with absolute fury and takes a lethal swing, inches from his face. Bam! Jose steps in, blocking the devastating strike and saving our guy from taking the fatal hit. With one massive shove, Jose sends the beast flying backward, completely taking control. He doesn't sugarcoat it, this is the absolute worst-case scenario. While they talk, the monster blurs into a high-speed circle around them. Jose drops the terrible truth that armor didn't just give Iberia a power-up. It completely hijacked his entire body. Tenma frantically suggests ripping the armor off, but Jose instantly shuts that false hope down. The gear is literally fused to his flesh now. Based on Jose's veteran experience, there is zero chance of bringing the kid back. Cold and calculated. He says the only option left is execution. He tells Tenma to step back so he doesn't have to watch his friend die. But our guy refuses. Not happening. He steps up blocking Jose, absolutely insisting that he will handle this tragedy himself, not him. Instead, he sends Jowski to track down Aiden and save anyone caught by that massive ice beast. He summons his death hound. Time to fight. Jowski nods but drops a harsh truth. If that monster escapes, it gets way deadlier. They have to finish it now. He takes off with the wolf while our guy steps right into the beast's path. The monster retaliates hard, unleashing massive wind blades that literally shred everything in their way. But mid-fight, he realizes something huge. His friend is still in there. The beast is holding back. It is not actually trying to kill him. Suddenly, the monster draws in massive energy, charging up its ultimate 1,000 windblade strike. It launches a storm of razor-sharp claws right at Tenma, and Tenma, he does not even flinch. To Iberia's absolute horror, he just walks straight into the attack. Impact blood splatters across the ground. Inside that monster body, Iberia breaks down, literally screaming in tears as he watches his friend take the hit. Meanwhile, deep in the Shadow Realm, things are moving. The demon general kneels before Lord Linga with massive news. They finally captured Aiden, but the price was brutal. They lost both the fire demon and the white ogre. Linga's reaction, absolute zero. He does not care about casualties if the target is secure. Then, the general spills the real tea. Lord Siru, that absolute unit of a beast, is actually struggling right now against Izumi's squad. Linga waves it off at first. Siru was always just bait to him. But then he hears the crazy part. Siru is getting stalled by just one special grade human. Linga demands the name. The answer, Heitan. The guy literally famous for having the most indestructible, overpowered body alive. Back on the battlefield, we see exactly why. Heitan just tanked Siru's absolute nuke of an attack, head on, like an absolute boss. The rest of the squad, especially Cherry, are just standing there stunned. Wounds healed or not, nobody has ever witnessed a clash this violently brutal up close. But Siru is raging. The beast swings again, packing enough raw, devastating force to literally erase the ground they stand on. The girl panics, rushing in to help, but Izumi blocks her fast. He knows Heitan is way too tough to get wiped out by basic trash damage like that. His warning is clear. Never, ever underestimate a special grade. Perfect timing. Tsuru's giant fist gets shoved right up into the air, revealing Heitan, standing there, completely unbothered. Izumi remembers the legends of Heitan's insane second form. Just the hype leaves his daughter completely stunned, and suddenly, Heitan basically unleashes absolute god mode. His aura shifts violently. His stats just shoot straight into the absolute stratosphere. There is one catch to this overpowered beast mode, though. He turns into a complete, bloodthirsty maniac. Before Izumi can even finish dropping the lore on this form, boom, Heitan blasts off the ground like a rocket. He punches straight through the monster's chest, leaving a massive void right where its heart was. He lands perfectly, and like an absolute legend, does not even look back. The giant beast just crumbles. The girl watches him walk off, totally confused. Izumi breaks it down. He is heading straight for the Steely, keeping the barrier up. She is amazed, even completely berserk. His mind is still locked onto the main objective. Exactly. Izumi drops the truth. If Heitan could not tell friend from foe, he would not deserve that special grade. One brutal punch. The Steely shatters into a million pieces, and instantly the wild look in Heitan's eyes fades away. He blinks, looking around like he just woke up from a dream. A heavy sigh escapes him. He totally slipped back into that crazy form again. The massive barrier finally drops. Everyone is cheering, but Izumi pulls his daughter aside for a quick, serious reality check. He points out she was literally about to throw her life away back there for Heitan. That reckless hero stuff, definitely not her usual vibe. The harsh call-out definitely hits her hard, but she quickly pivots the conversation to Tenma's squad. Man, she is really hoping the rest of the crew is surviving their side of this war. Back to Tenma's fight. The monster trapping Iberia is completely losing its mind. It just cannot compute why Tenma took that brutal hit without even trying to dodge. But Tenma, he wanted that hit. Right now, physical agony is literally the only thing that can distract him from his completely shattered heart. He walks right up to the beast. No fear. He activates his clear orb and blasts it straight into the monster's chest like a sniper round. That orb instantly vaporizes the dark corruption. The sick dragon armor just melts and crumbles into nothing but dust. And there is Iberia, covered in blood, absolutely broken and sobbing his eyes out. He completely breaks down, confessing he took the armor just to stop being dead weight. Tenma stops him right there. Burden never. Then he drops the ultimate truth: those beasts were never trying to actually kill Iberia's father at all. The real sick plan, they wanted him as a mind-controlled puppet. Eyes cold as ice, Tenma makes a promise. He is going to save the blacksmith and personally obliterate the mastermind who orchestrated this entire nightmare. Iberia is literally fading away. But hearing that, he just smiles. He leaves everything else entirely in Tenma's capable hands. And just like that, the chaotic second day of the prophecy finally ends. Iberia is gone, and Lord Linga, he's just chilling in the shadows, absolutely grinning. This villain is thrilled he took out someone so close to Tenma, swearing to wipe out everything else he loves. Meanwhile, deep out in the woods, Cherry is seriously scratching his head over this whole setup. Like the main bad guy is already dealt with, right? So why in the world are they still dragging Izumi up these mountains? This was actually supposed to be Heen's gig. But get this, after going completely berserk with that maniac transformation, he's totally out of commission, leaving the team to struggle. So they're hiking up the trail right, when suddenly Izumi's daughter throws her hand out. Her spirit radar is going absolutely crazy over something ahead. They look up, and there's a guy just standing there carrying a lifeless body. At first glance, unrecognizable. But the second they step closer, her breath catches. It's Tenma. The energy off him is completely wrong. One look, and she's literally sweating bullets. What absolute nightmare did this guy just walk out of, because he looks completely hollowed out. But before Tenma can even speak, Josuke materializes straight out of the shadows. He sighs, ready to break down the disaster. Izumi spots the veteran right away, but wait, wasn't he guarding Aiden? Josuke just lowers his head. Not gonna lie, the good guys took a massive loss. We're talking absolute worst-case scenario here. Half the northern territory is ruined. Aiden got snatched by demons and his kid didn't make it. Josuke tried tracking their magic signatures, obviously. But this enemy, they were playing four-dimensional chess with him. The demonic general literally spammed shadow clones everywhere just to scramble their escape route. Izumi immediately asks about Tenma, but his daughter shakes her head. Our guy is straight up refusing healing, and the sheer rage pouring out of him. It's absolutely terrifying, way more intense than anything she has ever felt before. Cut to a bit later. Tenma is isolated in a dark room, just dead staring at an old photo of Iberia and his family. The memories hit him like a truck, their first meeting, and their entire journey. It's a gut-wrenching moment. But grief turns to focus. He snaps back to reality and summons his wolf. Ding, the system interface flashes instantly. His loyal beast just hit level 20 and oh man, those new stats are looking completely stacked. The rest of the team might be down, but Tenma he is locking in, preparing for absolute war. Standing up, Tenma looks like he's ready to single-handedly crash the entire system. He swears to hunt down that disaster beast and completely obliterate whoever touched his friend. Right on cue, the squad walks in. The tension, suffocating. Now Cherry awkwardly tagging along, finally connects the dots. This is Izumi's legendary second disciple, the absolute monster everyone fears. Izumi catches him heading out and asks his plan. Tenma, straight to the point. He's going to rip Aiden out of enemy hands, but his master doesn't even hesitate. Hard pass. Izumi lays out the facts. The Salvation League has already branded this situation as a special grade disaster, meaning unless you're packing a second grade savior rank, you're benched. Hearing that nonsense, our boy goes from 0 to 100. He snaps back, totally furious. How can he not have the right to help? He made a blood promise to his dying friend. He looks his master dead in the eye. If they try to stop him, he'll fight through every single one of them. The room goes dead silent. Nobody disrespects the master like that. They're all stunned, but Izumi doesn't flinch. He hits him with a reality check. Are you really okay with more innocent people dying for your reckless choices? Then comes the brutal truth bomb. Izumi points out this mess happened because Tenma assumed he was the only target, leaving Aiden wide open. Ouch. But Izumi throws him a lifeline. He guarantees they aren't going to execute Aiden after working so hard to capture him alive. Here's the catch though. With Tenma's current stats, he'd be absolute fodder in this final boss setup. But if Tenma can somehow shatter his limits and reach special grade level, Izumi promises to personally force the League's hand. The price for that power he has to survive the Apex camp. An invite-only literal hell on earth reserved strictly for top 10 fighters. We're talking about the exact same nightmare training that forged absolute beasts like Haiten and Tawajin. And the next trial kicks off in exactly 3 days. The master makes it crystal clear, clearing this death trap is literally the only shortcut to unlock that special class rank. Tenma doesn't even blink. He accepts the deal. But first, they really need to patch up those massive injuries. Izumi's daughter steps up, summoning her glowing butterfly spirit to knit his wounds together. As the magic flows, Tenma casually asks her about this infamous Apex camp. He half expects her to judge his crazy plan, but honestly, her eyes are just filled with pure, terrifying concern. Her dad might have hyped it up, but she spills the dark truth. This camp is a graveyard for prodigies. Geniuses go in and come out completely irreparably shattered. The regimen is so lethally brutal that losing your life is just considered another normal accident. But our boy, he smiles, because he knows stomping low-level trash mobs isn't going to evolve his broken mimicry skill anymore. To break his limits, he needs to be dancing right on the razor's edge of absolute death. Let the games begin. To hit that next tier, he has to push it. He leans in close, like personal space, close, reminding her that hunting down impossible threats is literally just the job description for an awakened. And you can totally see it, her face completely flushed from burning through all that healing mana. Cue the awkward panic. She stammers out an excuse about the skill raising her body temperature. But our guy already zoned out. His mind is 10 steps ahead. He grabs his coat, heads straight for the door. And with a look that could literally freeze water, he tells her he needs to go say his final goodbyes. Tenma walks deep into the forest, straight to Iberia's makeshift grave. And guess who is already there? Josuke. Just standing there, mourning in total silence. The veteran actually turns and apologizes. He feels terrible for making the kid deliver the finishing blow to his own friend. But Tenma, he just brushes it off. No bad blood here, then drops the ultimate goal. He is joining the Apex camp. Why? To get ridiculously strong, track down that disaster beast, and rip it apart with his own hands. He flips the question back to Josuke. What is next? And this hardened warrior, he actually gets a little choked up. He talks about his mentor, the guy who gave him his sword, his techniques, his literal life. That classic master-disciple bond runs deep. He is going to find him, whatever it takes. Before the guy can spiral, Tenma throws a fist right in front of his face. A promise. Once he hits that next power tier, they are rescuing Aiden together. Josuke is all in. He smiles and they lock it in with a solid fist bump. The ultimate revenge alliance starts right here. Meanwhile, watching from the sidelines, the higher-ups are stunned. How is Tenma recovering this fast? But Izumi sees right through the act. The kid is not healed. Not even close. He is just taking all that grief, all that dark rage and burying it, packing it down tight so he can detonate it later when the real slaughter begins. Izumi heads out for a massive global commander summit. And who is left in charge of Tenma? His daughter. She is strutting around way too proud of her new babysitting gig. But Tenma shuts that attitude right down. Zero time for games. He instantly cuts to the chase. Where are they going next? She tries to play it cool, act all classified and mysterious like a secret agent. But she cracks under his stare and finally points toward Nakasu. Next stop, the legendary Apex camp, and our protagonist does not even blink. He is totally on board and immediately follows her lead. Cut to somewhere else entirely. Remember Rai, that arrogant red-haired kid? Yeah, he is currently having cold sweat nightmares about the absolute beatdown Tenma handed him. Dude jolts awake, screaming his lungs out. And get this, he is wrapped head to toe in bandages like a literal mummy. His mom rushes in to baby him, asking if the bad man from the tournament is still in his dreams. He screams yes, swearing bloody murder and payback. But Mommy Dearest tells him to hush. Why? Because Big Bro has finally arrived to clean up the mess. Right on cue, a total monster of a guy steps out of the shadows, just a walking mountain of muscle. He asks one question. Was it Tenma who did this? Just hearing the name makes Rai lose his absolute mind. He starts hyperventilating, screaming about how Tenma completely dominated the preliminaries and stole first place. The big brother, he just smiles, a full-on psychotic grin. He already knows the drill. After a showing like that, Tenma is 100% heading to the Apex camp. He cracks his knuckles, looking absolutely hungry for blood. The promise he is going to utterly crush Tenma the second their paths cross at the camp.